Right, we are live. 3, 2, 1, and we are here. Okay. Oh man, I'm trying to start on time and it's just nuts right now. Hi everyone. So before we launch, and I think I will have the timer ready to go. Oh, and we are 3 minutes away. Yes. So got the timer going, and as soon as the time is up, we can start sharing everything we know about the amazing TV. Hi everyone. So let's make sure the audio is good to go as well. So just double checking audio. Can everyone hear me? Making sure it's all good there. And we will try to get to as many questions as possible. Some things I may not be able to answer because I may not know it yet because it's so early in the release date, but there are a lot of exciting things about the Bravia RGB True TV that we're going to talk about today, including the actual name. What is the name going to be? How many of these models are there? This is the Halo TV of 2026 for Sony. So, hey, I'm looking sleek. Thank you. Hey, everyone. Robert, thank you for coming, Robert. And let's say hi to everyone. AJ, and let's see who else is here. Obsanity, thank you for coming. Eric Baker, wait. All right, let's see here. And we already got a super chat. 15 seconds to go. Can we do it? Thank you, Robert Conrad. It's been a long month and a half to not talk about these. Glad it's over. Yes, with 4 seconds to go, let's hit it. Yep, this is the Bravia 9 Mark II. It is what it's called. You all guessed it. I'm unboxing it right now. Okay, I want to pause right here. Look at this stand. This is definitely a Master Series. Normally, stands don't have this level of polish. This is chrome, not plastic. It's heavy, and I'm telling you, the stand is already impressive. Okay, and right here is, of course, a backlit remote. I have it right here for you guys. I love that this remote it has a texture on the bottom. They've done a little bit to it. It's very similar to last year's or Bravia 9 remote, very similar layout. What did they add? They added an extra button or two, but other than that, it's still the same type of remote, but at least it's backlit, right? So there you go, backlit remote. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, fingerprints. wait. Let's talk about the fingerprints. You are so right, Nigel. And what Nigel's referring to is, of course, the fingerprints on the chrome. I actually had to polish that chrome. Let me show you that fingerprint. It's like, oh, it's too terrible. I polished it multiple times so that you guys can see. All right, go back to that. Yeah, that's, you guys, wait, is he going back in time? Let me tell you, this chrome is highly polished. And the thing is, we're going to get this real quick. I should have stopped there a bit for you guys. Okay, so just to do this shot, I don't know how many times, and this is why I wear gloves. You guys are asking, why does Foom wears white gloves? Because of things like this. Ultimately, I nailed it without any fingerprints, right? It took a few shots. Trust me on that. So yeah. And I see your request, Obsanity. We will talk about that for sure. And okay, it comes with a polishing cloth. This is the first time I've seen a TV come with a polishing cloth. Why? It's because of the fingerprints, probably. And get this. So this is, when you unbox it, you're saying to yourself, whoa, that white cloth is huge. It's not just any cloth. It's actually a polishing cloth. You get this giant 65-inch size, larger than that, polishing cloth for your entire TV. I just love it. All right. Oh, our good friend is here. Let me throw him in there. There he is. There's Brian. Hey, Brian.
Church on time.
I wanted to let them know that when you open the TV, they cover the TV in a giant polishing cloth that covers the entire screen. every TV should have that. So I didn't even have to peel off any special coating, because normally there's that plastic coating. Instead, they cover it with a high quality polishing cloth that I guess you could use to clean your TV. So I think that's very cool. Now,
so you think it's that thing that you didn't know you needed? You're like,
yeah,
I need it now.
well,
all brands need to do that right now.
Yes. Now here's
What's up,
something.
everybody?
Hey, Brian. Brian's Tech Therapy.
Hi.
You guys don't know, right? Okay,
What's up,
so
guys?
if you look at the HDMI, I would like to tell you before anyone goes, oh my gosh, 2.1 gaming, we're talking
I can
full
already see the
bandwidth.
comments.
It is 2, not 4, 2. And let me explain why. Sony was very clear. This entire processing with the chip and everything, it took them years, and they were not about to upgrade an all-new SoC just to add 2 more 2.1s, because it took them so long just to bake the firmware, the processing into this one chip. So that's why it's only 2 chips. They've been designing this TV with that chip in mind for the last 2 years. And when the new MediaTek chip came out, they're like, look, we're not going to redo this whole thing. We think gaming is important. You got 2 ports. Let's call it a day. Now, the Bravia 3 Mark II, ironically, has 4, because they don't care, right? They didn't spend years developing the image processing to match the true RGB TV panel. So ultimately, Brian and I are like, oh, we're going to hear it from the crowd. So let's get that out of the way.
So let's just rewind for a second, 'cause I'm late to the party. I don't know if you started right at noon or what it is.
I did. I started exactly at noon.
So for the 2026 TV lineup is the Sony Bravia 9 Mark II, Bravia 7 Mark II, the Bravia 3 Mark II. And I think what confused people is seeing the HDMI inputs FOMO on the Bravia 3. So they kind of assumed, that's great. We're all set, ready to rock, because I saw a lot of that in the comments. And we were also surprised, but it's not that Sony's not focused on gamers. Their game mode, I think, is the best looking game mode in the business.
Right.
I just think they always have to pick their resources and where they're going to go with it, because it's not an old SoC. Like, it's not like it was the first one they put in. I just think it's wherever their resources were best kind of added in. They don't say forget gamers. I just think they have to pick what they're best at, and that's just image quality and processing.
And to be fair to them, it would have taken, so we can't have it both ways. We always complain about TV makers not having their firmware baked. They spent a lot of time making sure at launch it was baked. And if they're going to jump in, add a new SoC, and have broken firmware, they're like, no, we are not going to do that. So I get it.
Well, and I think FOMO to talking to some of the Sony people in the last few years, I mean, we all knew what was coming, but Sony's been working on this for like 20 years. So I think when they started seeing everything pop up and say, oh, okay, this is RGB, micro RGB, all these different things, it's like, oh, man, So I don't think they could have stepped back and said, okay, let's do 165 hertz. Let's do this. And honestly, it really wouldn't have helped their sales all that much as far as the gaming community, as far as I'm concerned. So I think chasing that small group and delaying the TV even further would have been detrimental at this point in time. So I think they kind of just had to go with it, FOMO.
Yep. And one
go
more
with
thing.
it.
Okay, so this one, again, makes it a master series. That space between the stand, the Chrome stand, and the TV, where your wire goes.
The Mirage.
Look at that. You don't see the wire, right? So this is a lenticular lens thing where if you have a wire behind your TV, you don't see it. So they really, really did want to make this the flagship Master Series that's no longer called Master Series. But it's these little details that impress me. So this special screen that sits in front of your stand shows off the Chrome on each side, but you're not going to see any wires behind it. So that's pretty amazing. Now, this software update happened this morning, by the way. So I had to redo everything.
let's go back to the design.
Okay.
What I think is amazing, we saw that at the Sony showcase. It was like other TV manufacturers and even including Sony have gotten more simple with their design. You can barely see it; it blends into the room. This is so Sony. It reminds me so much of the XBR's FOMO from back in the day.
Yep.
It's like iconic, but retro and modern all at the same time. And it stands very tall. So you don't have to have the two positions anymore. You can kind of see through the bottom. It just looks badass. And the speakers on the back look amazing. So, I mean, I think it really does stand out, everybody. So if you like the iconic XBR Sony Z9D look, you're going to see that here, but improved. So I think the design is gone from very understated to it's going to stand out. And the Bravia 7 Mark II, by the way, has something very similar. Not quite as elegant, but it looks nice.
Yeah. And for today's stream, so all yesterday, I was waiting for an update. No update, no update. I come in this morning, there's an update. And as you can see, I've updated it. So before we jump into the actual comparisons and everything, this is the pricing. These are the sizes. Pre-order at Value Electronics. Thank you so much, Robert Zone at Value Electronics, for sponsoring this video. Big shout out to Robert Zone. And so these are the prices. And here's what's most important for you guys. He's going to put together special bundle deals, and I'll tell you why the bundle is going to be so awesome. So this is my favorite feature. And this feature came about with me speaking to Sony 2 years ago for them to add this feature. I'm so excited. But before we get to those features, let's just go over the prices really quick. The Bravia 9, and this is MSRP, obviously by Black Friday, hopefully there's a little bit of a discount, but if you guys want to be the first on your block, starting with the Bravia 9 Mark II, right? That's the TV we have today. At the 65-inch size, it's $35.99. This is a few $100s more than the 65-inch G6, currently $3,300. The Samsung S95H are around $3,300, so it's in that range. Not bad at all. The 75-inch is $4,600. The 85-inch is $6,500. Again, this is in line with the flagship OLED TVs from LG and Samsung's micro RGB. Now, the big one. First, there is no 100-inch size or 98-inch for the Bravia 9 Mark II, but there is a 115-inch because some of you have the money and you keep on telling me, FOMO, I got $32,000 burning in my pocket. There's nothing to buy. We have it.
Dude, people keep asking me
$31,000 for a 115-inch.
They're like, why isn't there a 115 of this TV? I'm like, if you got it like that, good for you. But yeah, I mean, and that's the one we saw in New York City, and it's gorgeous. It does have a different design. It has a glossy screen and a different stand, but it's badass, beautiful.
Yes, it is. Now, some are saying, wait, $30,000, $31,000, get a TCL micro LED. Trust me when I say the TCL micro LED, your image processing is completely different. Image processing of micro LED is about 2 generations behind. Your clipping, your tone mapping is not going to be the same. This thing is completely baked when it comes to skin tones. If you're looking at raw technology, getting the cheapest micro LED for the money, good luck. I would not do it. I would stick with a regular 115-inch mini LED from Hisense before I go micro LED, just because micro LED image processing is still behind in the times. Trust me on that. Get a 97-inch for $24,000 OLED before I would get a micro LED from any of the makers, including Samsung right now. It is not as baked as you think it is. I'm just saying that, right? So, but this is not cheap. That's 115-inch, $31,000. The Bravia 7 Mark II is where the 98-inch comes in, and this is why I think they did it. The 98-inch Bravia 7 Mark II is $9,000. So, if you're a Sony looking at the roadmap, like, wait, if we produce a 100-inch or 98-inch, it'll be 15 grand. That's kind of like a dead man's land, because at that price they want to stay under 10, and the only way they can stay under 10,000 is if they release it on the Bravia 7 Mark II. And we'll go over the differences between the 9 Mark II and the 7 Mark II right after I go through all the prices. 85 inch, 4,000. 75 inch Bravia 7 Mark II is just above 3,000. 65 inch is 2,600. 55 inch. So here's the best part. The Bravia 7 Mark II True RGB TV has a 55 inch and a 50 inch. So Brian, you've been asking, are the 50 inch flagship TVs dead? Well, at least with the Bravia 7 Mark II, you have something from Sony at that level.
Yeah.
So you could choose between 50-inch B6 OLED or the 50-inch 1599 for something brighter.
And,
go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, and from what I understand, they're all the same panel too. There is no 50 is different than the rest, so they're all the same technology, same panel, which is great to have the 50-inch. I know everyone's pretty bummed about the 98-inch not being the Bravia 9 Mark II, because I think if the Bravia 9 itself was 98 inches, it would have beaten up everything. So I think that's a little bit of a missed opportunity, because that's quite a jump if you want the flagship. But I spent a lot of time with the Bravia 7 Mark II at 98 inches, and it's beautiful. So,
and
I mean, it's going to be great for most people.
This is something. So this is the part that gets me excited. It is this. Oh, wait a minute.
The Trio's amazing too, by the way.
Oh, yeah. So before, here we go. Let me talk about this.
Everybody hit like. We're at almost 700 people in the chat. Please hit like.
Hey, everyone.
A lot of us have been up all night. I was editing my video, which will be up later, so please watch that. And I know the Sony crew, if you're in the chat, thank you all for your hard work, because I know they've been up all night, and show them some love. Appreciate all you guys being here. Again, almost 700. Please hit like. FOMO does a lot of work setting these TVs up, and thank you to Sony for sending this one, rushing it to them to put it up. We appreciate you guys.
This is the bundle that excites me the most, because I spoke with Sony at length a few years ago when they asked, how can we make audio accessible, immersive, just what is that premium experience? And this is what we came up with. When you buy the TV, the Sony TVs at the flagship level, they put a lot of effort and resources into making that TV near soundbar quality. But what's missing? What's missing is the sub, the bass. Now, when you get a TV, and all these TVs can do this, the A95L, the Bravia 9, the Bravia 7, the Bravia 5, the Bravia 8 Mark II, Bravia 7 Mark II, and Bravia 9 Mark II, you can independently add the new Sub 7 or Sub 8 or Sub 9 without any dongle. They will wirelessly connect to your TV, and you can also wirelessly connect the rear 8 and rear 9. So the rear 8 and rear 9 and the Sub 7, 8, 9 are all 2026 models, right? Here's the best part. You have your TV, you add the subs, you will destroy any TV out there, bar none, because you got the bass. Then you add the rear 9 as part of the bundle, and you have immersive surround. If that's all you need, you're done. There is no ugly soundbar. There is nothing hanging on the walls, because your TV, let's say the Bravia 9 Mark II, is so good in terms of its dialogue and its dispersion of sound, because you have the dialogue in front of you, then you have the surround, and then you have the Sony calibration of sound that calibrates your subwoofer to your surrounds. Now, here's the best part. Once you're there and you're like, you know what, I'm moving this TV into a bigger room and I need more bass in this big room, you add either a trio, which is an all-new 3-piece system, right? So you have a center and 2 right, left, right, matching all 3 to add more volume to the dialogue and to the effects. You can now add a second subwoofer to that room, because the second subwoofer does require an additional trio or bar 7 or 9, so you can add a second matching sub. So if you start off with the Bravia 9 Mark II or the Bravia 7 Mark II, right, 98-inch size, 115-inch, you bring in your bundled sub plus your rears. You love it, it's great, but you want more a year or two later. Don't get rid of the sub. You add a second sub, and then you add either bar 7, 9, or the trio. And why would you do that? Because your sub is now so loud that you need the rest of the volume of your system to keep up. you don't want your sub to overwhelm the bass, to overwhelm everything else. This keeps everything together and cohesive. Now, this is something to keep in mind. It has to be a matching sub. You can't have a sub 7 and a sub 9 paired. It has to be two sub 9s or two sub 8s or two sub 7s when you do have that complete system. But, and this is why I love the sub 9. The sub 9 is literally two sub 8s stacked together. So if you get two sub 9s, it's four sub 8s. And if you stack those together in near field behind your couch, you have the ultimate system that I think can challenge anything out there. And I love that the TV works with that entire system, Sony 360 calibration. So, Brian, would this not be the ultimate immersive as far as audio? I know we have a couple of separates and discrete guys who are spending 10,000, but I think for under 3,000, man, I have a hard time thinking how you can beat this.
So what's funny is every event that we've been to in the last 2 years where we've seen technology like this, before the person is even done with their slide, FOMO goes, "Excuse me, how many subs can I add?" And they're like, "Well, I'm not interested." So yeah, it's incredible. Also, if you're a theater bar 9, somebody who has that soundbar, I have that soundbar. You can also update and add two soundbars to that one, or two subs to that one as well. So you can actually upgrade your theater bar 9, not to the subwoofer that came with it, but there is a way to buy the new subs. You can buy two of those and add that, which is pretty amazing. So yeah, no, they have the whole thing. I mean, the sound demos they did, I wish we could convey that to you guys. Unfortunately, we can't film them and we can't hear them, but they do a great job of bringing it all together. Now
we finally have the TVs. We're going to do some
comparisons.
I love how
I gotta say this. I love how you, FOMO, at your wedding, did you bring like your ex-girlfriend and your ex-wife? Like, oh, I do. By the way, this is my first true love. You can never let the TV just be by its freaking self.
Never. All right.
Jennifer Gala in the house. What's up, Jen?
Wait, speaking of Jen, this is all her amazing content that we are using. So you guys know.
I actually narrated this one. She let me.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. And we have you live now, so we can actually hear you narrating for us live. So this is Jennifer's latest video to compare RGB TVs and so forth. We're going to have her stress test. And we have three TVs that are all flagship Sonys at one point or another. And I want you guys to guess what's what, right? So forget the thumbnail. I just threw that out there to make sure you guys can see the TVs that are on display. Obviously, we know what the little one is, and that would be my reference monitor. This is the BVM 3110. It goes up to 4,000 nits, 1 to 5% Windows. So this represents the HDR reference. It's also for skin tones. It's fully calibrated, so we can see how closely each of these flagships are matched. Now, all three TVs are reset. And then we'll go over the settings again so you guys can see, but none of them are calibrated. This is out of the box. So panel variance being what it is, but I think this is close to what you guys will get in terms of accuracy and brightness out of the box. If you choose to calibrate it, definitely let Robert Zone know, and he will calibrate to your heart's content any of these TVs. But many of you might be like, you know what? I've already spent $4,000 on this TV. I don't want to spend another $600 or whatever it is to calibrate.
It's worth it to QC it. Just QC it alone.
But they'll QC it as well, right? They'll make sure there's no dead pixels. They'll make sure the DSC, there's no DSC that you guys will see. So that's just something to keep in mind. But I want to hear your guesses. Which TV is what? All TVs are, actually, you know what? Let me go over the settings real quick for you guys so you guys can see. And we'll reset it live for you guys right now. Okay, so I'll be in professional mode, and the picture settings are, all right, reset for professional, reset to default, yes, all right.
Well, by the way, guys, the Bravia 8 Mark II received an update recently, so in its
most
I
updated
preset,
that.
It's very bright. I mean, like, it's bright. So Sony really improves their products over the years. The Bravia 9 has improved a great deal as well.
Resetting that TV. just waiting for you guys to guess what's what real quick.
Are you guys excited? I mean, I know it's been a long wait, and it's been hard for all of us to kind of keep quiet what it is. What are your thoughts on the lineup? What do you guys really think? What are your thoughts? Please put them in the chat for us so we can get your feedback while he sets these TVs up.
Yes, I am pretty.
And I'll tell you, for me, you know, I had spent a lot of time with it at Value Electronics, the 65-inch, same one FOMO has, and I was very surprised by how bright the Bravia 9 Mark II is outside of professional. Professional itself was very bright, but I was shocked at how bright it was in standard and vivid. What's up, AJ?
Oh, we got some great guesses.
X90L. X90J, baby, we got you.
All right. Okay, so let's start with this. Fighting words. I'm sorry, guys. Y'all can't convince me the Bravia 9 smokes the new TCL micro LED TVs. Well, you know what? I don't have the micro LED right here, so can't say anything until we get them. Maybe TCL will invite me, and then we'll do something there, right? So, all right. Let me turn up the exposure a bit. Okay, so what we're going to do is actually identify the TVs. That's the next step. Boom, boom, boom. All right. Bottom right-hand corner is the Bravia 9 Mark II. Bravia 9, it's to the left on the bottom. And the very top TV on the right is the Bravia 8 Mark II. So let's change exposure a touch. Okay. This is a great one. I'm going to pause right here. So at 1,000 nits, obviously, all the TVs look good. What's interesting is the color science is so consistent. What I've noticed is whether it's Hisense or TCL, depending on the model, the color science between the TVs are a little bit different. You have three different technologies here. You have the Bravia 8 Mark II, which is QD OLED. You have the Bravia 9 Mark II, which is the all-new RGB True TV, which means it has true RGB backlight. Then you have the Bravia 9, the traditional white backlit mini LED. And yet Sony has spent the time to make sure the colors are consistent across the board. And this is what I tell Sony fans. If you're used to the Sony look, just continue buying Sony TVs because the skin tones will be consistent somewhat from year to year, unless you get it calibrated. Then most of the TVs might end up looking the same. But for the most part, Sony does a really good job of maintaining this consistency. So that's just something that I appreciate about Sony. And let me just get some of the super chats out of the way so we can get caught up. Okay. Where is your in-depth G6 review? Been waiting for it for weeks. So the G6 is coming. It's en route from Value Electronics. The reason it took a few weeks is because we had to wait for Dwayne Davis to make time to calibrate that TV. So the G6 is coming. He's calibrated everything, Dolby Vision, all of that. And, oh, I'm going to just pause right here for this blooming test. And that's why. So apologize for the delay, but it's coming. As soon as I get it next week, we'll put it up against the Bravia 8 Mark II and the G5 to see, hey, what's up? Obscenity, thank you for the super chat. We need to know, blooming, color, crosstalk. Look at that. Blooming is next. We're going to talk about it next. So yes. Now, color crosstalk is something else. That one, I'm going to ask Jennifer Gala to create special content. She's seen what LG has done to show color crosstalk, which is face that's just barely pale, and then your background color changes, moving across behind the person. You got red moving over to green, to blue, to black, whatever. And then we'll see if color crosstalk or how badly it affects these TVs. But also keep in mind, in real content, does it matter? So that's something we're going to talk about later. But yeah, so if you guys saw Vincent's video, he was demonstrating what LG display has been demonstrating, which is OLED has no risk of color crosstalk, whereas any RGB technology may have a risk of color crosstalk, and all comes down to execution. But this is what I said to Nanosys, because I met with Nanosys, and I said to them, wait a minute, the reason why color crosstalk is a problem is because math. The processor, image processor, has not been updated with an algorithm that addresses that. It can be addressed with math. You can convert colors properly to avoid the crosstalk, right? The problem is, do these processors, one, have the bandwidth to do that? And two, are the companies willing to spend the millions of dollars to get the mathematicians, the image guys in there to do the math to offset the color crosstalk? And analysts agreed, like, yeah, it's true. I mean, you can use math to offset it and compensate, but they're not doing it. So it could be in the future a firmware update away if they're willing to do it. And the question is, has Sony already done the work for color crosstalk? We'll see. I honestly don't know. I'm hoping, but they told me they did at the Sony event. So definitely we'll have to talk about that and check that. No mention Dolby Vision 2 Max. Yet will it support it? No. Dolby Vision 2 Max requires the latest MediaTek chip. This MediaTek chip is not quote unquote the latest, so you're not going to get Dolby Vision 2 Max support on any of the Bravia 9 Mark II or the Bravia 7 Mark II. And I've never heard of any suggestion that it may be added later. So just assume it's not going to be added. And Robert Conrad, thank you for the super chat, my friend. It looked amazing, and the color blooming tricked my eyes into believing it wasn't there. It was mega bright and vivid. If I leave OLED, this is the TV I will go to. Brian and I agree. This is the TV. We will tell you what we think by the end of this stream, whether we would swap out OLED for this or not. But definitely.
Well, and Robert is a great barometer of that, because he's buying a ton of OLEDs. And I think we talked, off camera, and we've talked in other videos, is that, seeing them all together paused like this is not how they look in person. I'll tell you that right now. The local dimming for the guy earlier is excellent on this TV. I mean, it looks beautiful. But having an 85 or a larger, the color, everything is beautiful on this TV. I'm telling you. It's just, I know the things we're talking about, Dolby Vision too, but the TV itself is beautiful. This is a very first of all, I'll tell Jen, my OLEDs bloom with this video, by the way.
Oh yes, yeah. I mean, if you notice,
it's so bright.
The thing is, how
OLEDs.
Bright is it? It is super bright right now. So let me see, which is the brighter one. I'm comparing it to the reference monitor, and yep, the Bravia 9 Mark II is the only one that's matching the reference monitor in terms of brightness. It matches it exactly. The Bravia 9 is about two and a half to 3 stops behind. And wow, shockingly, the Bravia 8 Mark II, the circle is even brighter than the Bravia 9. So the Bravia 9 is trying to control its blooming, and is half a stop less bright than the Bravia 8 Mark II. So the Bravia 8 Mark II update, they definitely are unleashing that brightness. Fearless. Yeah, I guess Sony got too many complaints about that, right?
I mean, it's an OLED. Specular highlights are going to hit too. So, I mean, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. And we're going to look at how the blooming is affected shortly, because I think off-angle blooming is a big improvement for sure. Thank you, buddy, for that super chat.
Is a big jump.
I'm here for the guy on top and the guy on the bottom to convince me to ditch OLED. Thank you for the stream. Java on me. Definitely, we are going to get a cup of coffee with that. Thank you, my friend. Robert Lawrence, thank you for showing up. This is, again, a very good point. Vincent from HD TV Test did a video showing color blooming on RGB TVs. It looks bad, bleeding colors into other colors. And I wonder how bad this new Sony has it. Are you able to test for that? So special patterns are needed to create this. I won't be able to test for it today, unless it's very obvious. However, in this stress test that Jennifer Gala did, we may be able to see something. So I'll show you comparisons to the degree I can. But over the next month, we'll have more and more specialized content for that. But the context is, in real movies, do you see that? And we'll definitely have to see if that's the case.
Well,
As
and more
well.
importantly, I appreciate Vincent's video, and we've seen. I mean, LG Display started the color crosstalk tests. They had a Pac-Man going across. The thing is, it's really, does it bloom the color? And a lot of the RGB mini LEDs or micro RGBs did that in their first gen. All the second gen ones are much better than they were last year. The Sony one didn't really exhibit any of that. Even the one we saw in Japan didn't have much of that. So it's the best one I've seen by far in terms of not only its blooming, but the color crosstalk of the blooming of a color
Right.
isn't really an issue. So that's what really matters in real content. And that's not something I've seen on their TV. So, I mean, again, Sony has really tried to hit home that this is separate from every other manufacturer. This isn't their technology that they purchased from somebody else. This is their homegrown thing. They really made that very clear a couple of years ago, and it does look that way when you compare it to something else.
Hmm. And don't worry, guys, we're going to go over a lot of the content. I just want to get through some of the super chat before we get too backed up, and then
We
we'll
gotta do like
start to
Sony only streams so we can keep keep on top. Jesus, man.
debating
Talk
on
about my
going with a
ex-girlfriend at a wedding. Hey, what do you want to talk about? Let's talk about
debating on
plasma.
going with the Samsung S90H 48-inch or the C6 48-inch for gaming desk setup. Reports say both tandem panels here in the US currently own a 77-inch S90F QD. Wondering if these will be close to that also. I'm going to say no. I think QD OLED has something special. Tandem will do its own thing, but the tandem is likely on the larger sizes. So the S90H 77-inch is more likely to be a tandem than the smaller 48-inch, and same with the C6. They'll both be WOLED, but the tandem is reserved for the larger sizes, and it's something that Brian's going to compare. Brian does have the 77-inch S90H, and he'll demonstrate how that compares to the C6H at some point, right? But right now, I think it's too early to make the jump to buying these TVs. Let's wait, especially since you're gaming. You do have special needs, and so let's wait for how that looks, because gaming is its own
Did you
beast,
just say
my
you got
friend.
special needs? You got
Gamers have
special
special
needs.
needs, man.
Us gamers definitely do. That's no doubt.
This is a great one. At the Sony event, were you able to compare the Bravia 9 Mark II and the 895L? If so, how did they compare? So we were able to compare the Bravia 8 Mark II and the Bravia 9 Mark II,
Yeah.
and I have them both here. So you're going to see even more detail, but how they compared is this. In every scene up to 1,000 nits, identical. It's when you went up brighter that the Bravia 8 Mark II fell behind. But does it really? Because I'm going to stop right here because it's so
Well,
good.
well, I can answer that because the
Go
big
ahead.
test that they did, and we go to these events, you have to understand it's not just demo material that make the TVs look good. A lot of times, it doesn't make the TVs look good at all. And shout out to JT and the Sony team. The most telling test that they did for us was the Bravia 8 Mark II, the Bravia 9, and the Bravia 9 Mark II. With the BVM, it was coming out of black. It was the gradients. And even you could see where each one struggled in its own way to deliver what the BVM was doing, including the Bravia 8 Mark II. It just couldn't come out of black the same way. And the Starfield is a good show of that, but not like a movie. So
Yeah.
it's not the best looking test. It would not look good on camera, but it made you understand that they're really trying to get to the point of being identical to the BVM, and they definitely accomplished that. So that's really where the comparisons matter. Showing us movies and pause stuff doesn't really make a difference. When they showed us that with the BVM FOMO, that really tough scene, you could see where it was more natural. OLEDs just can't do that. They're either crushing it, or they come out too fast, or they lift it. So that's what the advantages of the Bravia 9 Mark II. At least that's what they try to share with us.
And
BVM.
this is just so amazing. I'm going to take a break from the super chat just to hit this. So yes, Clayton Feet, you're next. But this is what we're talking about. The Bravia 9 has been my standard for mini LED, black levels, and specular highlights together. they made a perfect balance of that. The Bravia 9 Mark II takes it up a step, meaning it's slightly darker, but the specular highlights are slightly brighter. So I don't know if you can see the difference here, but that's why I paused it. It's there, but what's crazy is the Bravia 8 Mark II has even brighter specular highlights, nearly matching, or if not perfectly matching, the BVM 3110. But that's why you get an OLED, right? Is for that perfect match. But I just had to share how good the Bravia 9 Mark II is. There is no blooming. I'm hyper exposing everything, and I'm going to get to an even brighter one next. But it's just
the streaming software is limited to 1440p, guys. That's why you're not seeing it in 4K.
Yeah, I tried, but YouTube won't let me.
It just doesn't. Yeah, it won't.
And so look at the slightly deeper blacks on the Bravia 9 Mark II. And when you guys are saying, wait, slightly, am I paying extra for that slight? It is so hard to get any mini LED LCD TV to have that extra drop in black levels. It's not easy, and that takes a lot of money. And so we always ask you guys, is it worth paying for that extra? Well, at this level, it is, right? Because look at the brightest star in this scene. On the Bravia 9 Mark II, it's slightly brighter, and the brightest is still the Bravia 8 Mark II. I mean, that thing, you could
There's
really
specular highlights for an OLED. It's going to be the little tiny details.
Yes.
What they're gonna.
But if I tick down, right, there you go. And that's the differences in the specular highlight. But right now, that's just class leading. And yes, we'll have the X11L next to the Bravia 9 Mark II at some point. I'm waiting for the 75-inch Bravia 9 Mark II to come. I'm asking TCL to swap out my 85 for a 75. Then you'll see 75 versus 75, hoping TCL has any 75s in stock. That way you can see, okay, size for size, how do they compare? But yeah, this is, and we're going to do blooming tests next, but I just had to kind of scratch that itch for you guys. Okay, next up, Clayton. At the Sony event, were you able to compare? Oh, we did that one already. Next up, TS88 1999. I held off on buying any theater system this past year in the hopes of the Trio coming out. Is it meaningfully better than the Bravia Quad, and how much does it cost? So, it is meaningfully better because you can pair it with two sub-9s. That is what makes all home theaters better. The difference between a $10,000 home theater system and a $2,000 one is the budget you set aside for the subwoofer. So Sony giving you two sub-9s to pair with a Trio is a meaningful difference. And because the rears are optional, you can start with the Trio and two sub-9s. And you're done. If you want to add the rears to make it a full surround, that gives it more immersion. The Quad isn't as powerful. So it's a drop in wattage, right? The wattage of the Trio plus the rear 9s plus two sub-9s, we're talking twice the volume. I mean, it's meaningfully louder. If you're in a small room, you'll notice the drop in bass though. So even if you stacked the smaller, what are they called? The SW5s. The SW5s are not as powerful as the sub 8. So already the Quad falls behind in its bass power. So I think right there you have the shortcoming. However, the immersion on the Quad is excellent, but the sub is going to be lacking. So hopefully that answers your question. Go ahead, Brian.
Let that demo run. You're killing me with the pause demos.
Oh,
just let it run in the background. Give me something to do. I can't just sit here and listen to you talk. Let the demo run. Right. Want to see these TVs, everybody? Come on. Let's get that excitement going.
All right. And Taurus.
There we go. Terrace,
Greeting,
what's up, my
guys.
friend?
Thanks for the awesome video. I got through everything. Came home yesterday. Still here. Glad to be back. 5-month recovery ahead. All the best to you, Tyrus, and thank you for letting us know that you are doing well. We missed you.
Yeah, Terrace,
You are
definitely.
back.
We think about you. I'm thinking about you, my friend. Gotta get down there and see your place.
In excess. Thank you for the super chat. The day is upon
Oh,
us.
in excess.
LFG is the Pro model that was being thrown around, not real. I have no idea what the Pro model is, honestly. We'll talk to
I mean,
Sony. Maybe it's a Costco special. Brian, you know what that is? I don't know what that is.
no, I mean, it came up as Pro, but unless they're talking about the 115-inch, which has the glossy screen and different design. I mean, I saw those leaks too, but I haven't heard anything about it being called the Pro.
Yeah.
Sounds good,
I'm
though.
going with
They're not
the
going to have it at Costco, by the way.
I'm going with the 85-inch Bravia 9 Mark II. It will be my first Sony TV. And what a
Oh, you'll
great
be very
first
happy.
TV. You're going to be very happy. All right.
Yeah,
Last
you
super
will.
chat, and we're going to go through a bunch of demos. And then if you have any more super chats, we'll hit it after all the demos run. No Dolby Vision 2 Max is a deal breaker for me. It looks like we all got to wait for 2027 flagship TV to support it. Meantime, it seems everybody will be getting the TCL X11L for Dolby Vision 2 Max. Sony already off to a bad start with me. Okay, so here's the key. Once TCL X11L has Dolby Vision 2 Max, I will put it head to head against a Bravia 9 Mark II. Same content, one with Dolby Vision 2 Max, the other one with just HDR10, and let's see if it does make a difference and how it makes a difference, and then you guys can decide, because right now it's very speculative what Dolby Vision 2 Max does, but we'll see.
And we're gonna
Maybe
see,
it does magic.
and we're gonna see, and we should see it by the end of the summer, and we should see if that promised slider shows up. I've heard that before with other technology, so we'll actually see them side by side.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go through these. Let me adjust it. Okay, so the key is this. The BVN 3110 represents reference in terms of how bright it should be. So it should not be brighter. If it's less bright, it is because the TV is just not capable of the specular highlights, but it should never be brighter. Especially these Sonys are very good at specular highlights that are accurate. Now, there's one thing. Oh, this is the one. So this is one where you have the crosstalk we talked about, right? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the camera up close to the Bravia 9 and the Bravia 9 Mark II at an angle where you look down, and then you will see the difference. What does RGB or true RGB bring to the table, so that you can decide for yourself, oh, is this an improvement? Is it not a big deal? What's what? So let me start here real quick. So on angle, they look pretty good, right? The Bravia 8 Mark II looks like the other TVs, no big difference, right? I'm hyperexposing and excellent black levels across the board. But if you notice, as I hyperexpose it further, the Bravia 9 Mark II, it's red, right? That extra brightness has a red bloom, just like the Bravia 8 Mark II, but on the Bravia 9, it's more of a white. And so what I'm going to do next. Okay, so I'm going to do, let's see if this works. Hopefully I don't get disconnected. But Brian, what are your thoughts about the differences that RGB makes in your current, what you've been seeing so far with the different Hisense UR9?
I mean, for me with the X11L, to me the two top TVs are the X11L and the Bravia 9 Mark II. I think those are the two. And it's not necessarily because of the added color. It's more about just that brute force, brightness, zone count, local dimming, kind of the stuff that we care about, more so than all the marketing with color. I haven't really seen a lot of that in the other. The color part of it, I think, is too much marketing. But I think the TVs themselves, what they bring to the table. What are you doing, bro?
So are you able to see?
It looks like Blair Witch. They're making them all bloom.
Right, or look at the color. Right?
Yeah, I mean the color, yeah, to some degree. I mean, it's not really showing it that well. It's kind of showing it like.
Let's see.
Foam killing me.
Okay, it's Blair Witch time. All right, so that's
Yeah, you got that shaky Cloverfield camera going on.
That's a Bravia.
Maybe we should do rehearsals for this.
And this is the Bravia 9 Mark II, and this is the Bravia 8 Mark II, and this is a very tough test, right? Because there is that red on the Bravia 9 Mark II versus more of a white. It's really hard to show, but that's the thing.
Yeah. But even we were at the Sony events, as soon as the green, yellow, and some of the red hit, you couldn't really see it on camera the same way. So even we talked about what some of the other ones have a pinkish look on camera. I haven't put the Bravia 9 Mark II against any of the TVs that are here, but they just don't show up. And that's kind of the curse of them. They don't show up well on camera compared to what they look like in person. To me, I was blown away by it. I thought it was far better than the Bravia 9. Far better.
What was far better than the Bravia 9? Mark II?
Bravia 9 Mark II. I didn't think it was close.
I think that the Bravia 9, on angle, my favorite TV so far is the Bravia 8 Mark II. Up to 1,000 nits. 2,000 nits.
Again, you're at a wedding. You're like, hey, I like my high school girlfriend better.
Would you break up with me?
Oh, my God. He's like, FOMO, you take her to be your wife? I do, but she's hotter. Oh, my God.
And we're going to do super bright content. So this is more of color saturation.
Yeah, let's get out of professional, too, man, at some point.
No. We will get out of it. We have a long stream, right? We have to do professional first to see whether the Bravia 9 Mark II is accurate or is it pushing color. Once you go into vivid, then maybe that's the special power we're talking about, right?
I'm going to ask your wife when I see her how many of your girlfriends were in the audience at your wedding.
You know what?
That's my eighth grade.
It's funny you should ask.
That's my prom
funny you should ask, Brian.
That's my ex-wife. I'm just kidding. Hi, Pauline, if she's there. Oh, I love you.
All right, this is such a good one. Look at the black levels here. Look how well it matches the Bravia 8 Mark II and the BVM 3110. This is very impressive. Very impressive. Oh my God. I don't see blooming issue. It's one of the best controlled blooming TVs out there right now. In my opinion, for a mini LED, it is the best.
Alpha firmware, the movie? Alpha, love that movie. Academy Award.
This is not Alpha firmware. I literally just updated the firmware. So Alpha was yesterday.
I'm not unhinged.
Today is full firmware. All right, let's do. Let me see. So this, I'm going to change. I'm going to adjust the brightness a bit so you guys can see. So we can safely say, oh, wow. So right here, the Bravia 9 Mark II, the clouds, actually is slightly brighter, more closely matching the brightness of the BVM 3110. And so this is why you get the Bravia 9 Mark II. It's that subtle push in brightness that's closer to accurate. And it's so minor, but at the end of the day, that's the expense, right? That's where you go. That's where the X11L beat the Bravia 9 as well, is these subtle highlights that the Bravia 9 could not reach. The Bravia 9 Mark II definitely is hitting it. And the Bravia 8 Mark II is just kind of clipping because it's too bright for QD OLED. And this is unusual because most content does not get this bright. The Bravia 8 Mark II is really the better deal here. And if you're
older TVs typically are.
Well, and not only that.
So is my plasma.
But Brian, what are you watching? If you're watching Columbo, would you get a Bravia 9 Mark II? You get a Bravia 7. You get a Bravia 5, right? If you're pushing performance with content that pushes performance. Or, to Brian's point, if you're watching Vivid, it could be the best Vivid in the market right now is the Bravia 9 Mark II. So we're going to play with Vivid. shortly so you guys can see why we love the Vivid mode. And this is probably why it doesn't need Dolby Vision 2 Max, because if you get Vivid calibrated, is that Dolby Vision 2 Max, right? So that's just something to keep in mind.
There is no Bravia 8 Mark II. So,
what is that?
got questions about the new OLED. There isn't one.
There is no, well, we don't know of any new OLEDs. We were not told of any new OLEDs, not even a new size, right? Brian, did you hear about a new size OLED?
No, I don't
I
believe.
think OLED stays the same.
I think OLED just carries over. They really want to focus on, the Bravia 9 Mark II.
Okay, what I wanted to show you was this. Okay. And here we have, oh, perfect, nailed it. So, now look how much brighter the Bravia 9 Mark II is. It is the only one that closely matches the lightning bolt in the BVM 3110. And this is what we're talking about, is you're paying extra to get that specular highlight. As good as the Bravia 8 Mark II is, it's still limited in its brightness, right? So this is it right here. The Bravia 8 Mark II, amazing, but it's not perfect in everything. Where the BVM 3110 tells you, hey, that lightning bolt should be this brightness, the 9 Mark II more closely nails it. Even the 9 is just a step behind. And to me, that's just like, wow, right? That's something to think about. But then again, look at the bottom right-hand corner. The Bravia 9 chose to brighten that to match the BVM. And the Bravia 9 Mark II chose to brighten up the lightning bolt a little bit. These are all choices that the processors make. And I'm seeing more gradient detail on the Bravia 9 Mark II that more closely matches the OLED. On the bottom right-hand corner, there's more gradient detail that is bright. So the Bravia 9, as good as it was, the 9 Mark II, definitely improved its image processing right there. So that's pretty excellent. So this is where QD OLED still falls behind. Look at how bright this scene is. In the center of the scene, 3110 tells you it needs to be this bright. Bravia 8 Mark II looks like SDR. 9 is actually slightly brighter right there, and the 9 Mark II is behind the 9. So the 9 also looks pretty good. In this scene, the 9 actually beats it. So the 9 processing still relevant today, and Sony needs to tune its image processing for tone mapping this, because I think it could stand to get brighter in the center of that scene. So if you guys have a 9, you guys are killing it.
In the stream, Bravia 9 wins.
Brian, I mean, look at it. Look at the brightness of the Bravia 9, right?
Oh my God. This is not at all what I see in person, but all right, whatever you want to do.
But Brian, did you get your firmware updated like I did this morning?
I don't have it. I mean, I just did the one that I saw evaluation.
Yeah, but you see what I'm saying? That every firmware update does something different, right?
What's up, Jason? You're buying steaks next time, bro.
And I was going to show you this at 10:28.
I'm aware he's there in person, CB. I'm aware. I know he's there in person.
And this one that's coming up is my favorite scene to compare right here.
Is everything in professional? What do you have it in now right now?
It's in professional. It's in professional filmmaker, so it accurately reflects the brightness of the source so that I could use the BVM. The minute I put it on Vivid, then the BVM really isn't very relevant. So this one is great. Here, the Bravia 9 Mark II matches the 8 in terms of color depth and the BVM, right? So the 9, this is where the RGB, true RGB comes to play. Look at the color of the 9 Mark II and the 8. This is the additional color luminance and color saturation that the 9 doesn't have. So that was just something for you guys to see. And look at the specular highlight that's right there as well. Super bright specular highlights on the 9 Mark II. And this is in Filmmaker, right? So we're not pumping it up in vivid mode. So this is a great scene because I think the Bravia 9 really did well right there. Yeah, really good. That specular highlight's really amazing. Down at the bottom, right, near to where the sun is rising. That pops so much like the BVM 3110. Okay, and I think
we're in HDR, correct? We're still
we
in HDR.
are in HDR, yes.
Yeah, so the brightness is at max on all of them?
Yes. And, well, yeah, here, let me show you. So you guys can double check. If you guys just joined us, you guys can see what the brightness is like on all of them. And, of course, eco mode is turned off, blah, blah, blah. All right, so my brightness is on max, right? And this is the Bravia 9 professional mode. Brightness is max, gradation preferred, everything else is default. We reset everything. So this is its ideal situation out of the box. Same with the Bravia 9. That was reset at the beginning as well. And max, gradation preferred. Yep, these are the best settings for that TV. And the Bravia 8 Mark II. Brightness also max, gradation preferred, peak luminance on high. Jennifer, thank you for these scenes. They look absolutely amazing. Okay, so let's go and do some movies. I got some movies ready to go for you guys. But before we jump to movies, let me get caught up. But Brian, tell me what your thoughts are on the true RGB TV in terms of upgrades. I mean, you've seen the Bravia 9, you've seen the Bravia 8 Mark II, you see how the Bravia 9 is a few $100s more than the G6 this year and the S95H. Obviously, they launched a month ago, so they're already seeing the reductions. I think by Black Friday, the Bravia 9 Mark II will be very similarly priced to the other TVs. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I don't think they're close. I mean, I'm
close in terms of what? Pricing or close
in terms of brightness, vibrancy, the way they look. I mean, from what I saw with the TVs I've spent time with, I mean, you have them in front of you, all in professional, I guess, but I didn't think they were close. But
well, this is a good time to put it on vivid mode then, before we go to
or
the
standard
movies.
Or cinema.
No.
Let's, you have to jump
actually,
right to
you know what?
Vivid.
No, actually, you know what?
There's other presets.
What is it?
Cinema,
Sony tells us to
standard.
spend the most time on standard, right? So we'll go to standard. What? Cinema doesn't give me the pop. How about vivid?
I think Brian appreciates that they're not enjoying reviewing TVs.
So we have the TVs on vivid, and then you guys can see the differences because Sony also tunes its vivid. So we are now in vivid mode, all three TVs, and then you can see how it compares to the BVM. So already the Bravia 9 Mark II in vivid, everything is brighter. The text is so much brighter.
Turn the exposure up a little bit.
Here we'll skip that and just go to the color. All right, here we go. Yeah, the 9 Mark II has an extra pop in vivid mode for sure.
What about standard or any of the other ones? Because not everyone's going to watch it in vivid. They're going to watch it in cinema or...
Okay, actually,
I'm
this
gonna
is
go
a
right
great
to the-
scene to pause for standard.
Yep.
One
Yeah,
second.
put them in standard, even cinema.
All right. So here we are in standard mode, and Bravia 9 Mark II definitely is brighter in standard as well. And the color is also slightly different too. It feels like there's a touch more, it's a touch cooler in standard. Let me turn up the exposure a bit so you guys can see. And definitely brighter on the specular highlights. So the Bravia 9 Mark II takes it up a notch, about a full stop to 2 stops brighter when you
And
go into standard.
which preset are we in? Standard?
Standard. We're in standard right now. Here we go.
Yeah, that's brighter. It's brighter than all of them.
Well, the key is this. It's brighter, but it preserves the blooming control and the black levels.
But this is where, you mean, other than professional, we should be in some of this, not just standard, but cinema, just to show the differences, because they look similar in professional anyway, but they look at least different here.
I don't know that cinema looks different. I think they tune cinema very similar. So let's go into cinema, right? So cinema gives you a similar white point on all 3 TVs. Okay, so we are in cinema. And I think for cinema, we would do best to, how about this?
Do Super Mario Bro?
No. Do a little bit of Netflix.
Little Mario Brothers, Momo? Freaking your TVs will explode. Nintendo flying through the window.
So we're in cinema, right? So you're watching.
Ooh, who's that? Is that Charlize Theron?
It is Charlize Theron.
Damn. Oh, okay, don't pause it on that scene. She's looking rough. I was like,
Well, she's supposed to look rough, right?
Was this Monster?
No, this is Apex. I like this because the skin tones are so good. So this is in cinema. And
What's up, Getty?
definitely the Bravia 9 Mark II in cinema is great for bright room watching because look at the skin tone. It really does closely match the BVM 3110. And we're going to get a close-up of, let me see, there's one right here. Yeah, this is a good one. Okay. So the Bravia 9 is a little bit desaturated in cinema compared to the 8 Mark II, the 9 Mark II, and the BVM. So here, it feels like it's for sure, the 9 Mark II out of the box is more accurate in cinema mode. It's a great scene. I didn't even know Elton John was in Apex.
Elton John is in this?
Oh, here's a good one.
This little birdcage? Yeah, it's a lot brighter.
Wow, this 9 Mark II looks excellent.
Should have started with this, bro.
Start with
You start with this content.
Well, if I started with this content, I might get shut down early, right? You gotta let it ride.
You're like, look, you're you're like, oh, they all look exactly the same for the first hour and a half. They're like, oh, by the way, it looks great.
Well, again, if you're in a dark room, you would not have it in cinema, right? So this would be great for a brighter room.
Why not?
Watching.
Yes, you would. Why, dude? Not everybody watches
would
a
you?
filmmaker. Dude, I don't watch professional all day long. I switch into the other.
Yeah,
presets.
but you're in a bright room, man. Come on.
Yeah, dude, I don't care, man. I watch standard. I watch them all. I just put it in professional. I want filmmakers' intent doesn't mean anything to me. I want to see what they can do.
Well, that's why you have Vivid Mode, right?
No, man, you do. There's other presets between professional and Vivid. You don't just jump. To Vivid.
I don't think so. I just go between
there's cinema.
Look, there's just too many presets. All I need is Vivid and professional. I don't know what you people are looking at. You people are nuts.
I need gun and tank. That's all I need.
Let's see.
God. Let's start the stream now. Ready?
Oh, wait. Alpha. I almost forgot. Let me see if... Let's see. This is one of my favorite...
Oh, Alpha. Put on Frankenstein, man. See some of the Specular. Oh, that's Dolby Vision. Can't do that. DVM can't do that.
Actually, yeah. Switch it over real quick. This is SDR, that's why.
My boy goes from professional to Vivid. Damn. Oh, man. Got no stops.
Okay. Unfortunately...
Bro, who's picking these shots, man? You got feet?
It's got the foot, right?
This is the best you can find?
Unfortunately, we have it in cinema, so I'm going to have to turn off because it's SDR, and the monitor is definitely referenced for SDRs, so this will not be good. So we'll have to do SDR another time. I don't think you guys are getting these TVs for SDR, because ultimately, Columbo looks the same on all these TVs, right? Okay.
I should never have introduced you to Columbo.
It's the TV to get for Columbo, the Bravia 7,
Bravia
right?
Mark III.
Okay, let's see. Let's put in the. I'm gonna put in my Kaleidoscope real quick, and give you guys some impactful movies.
All right, guys, while he's getting his Kaleidoscope, so what presets do you watch in? Do you watch just in Filmmaker? Do you watch just in Professional? Let me know. Thank you guys for being here. And are you guys even in the market this year for a TV? And if you are, what are you going from? Like, what do you currently have right now? Just put them in the chat, please. And please hit like and hype the... Well, it's actually a live stream. You can't hype it, but hit like. Thank you guys for being here. Jason Sims, what's up, baby? Get that steak.
It is.
Luke, what's up, bro? Tony, what's up?
Right.
Jason Sims.
Okay.
What's up, Yoga? Getty, what's happening? Getty sent you a super chat, I think.
Yep, we're gonna hit the super chats before we start. Before we start the Kaleidoscope.
I gotta change the name of that.
Here we go. Okay. Let's get caught up on the super chats. And thank you everyone for showing up. We're gonna go into real movies right now. After we get caught up in super chats, we'll do a little bit of 1917 Alpha, so you guys could see what it looks like in a dark scenes. How well the Bravia 9 Mark II does against the Bravia 9, all that good stuff. Okay. Mr. Upscale Man, your favorite curmudgeon is back. In my new home, I have a massive TV wall, and my 77-inch 895L looks puny from 15 feet away. Will this be the year I finally leave QD OLED? X11L, Bravia 9 Mark II, I'm looking at you. It could be.
I don't think you have a choice.
I mean, at 115-inch, you know, $30,000 budget.
Mr. Upscale Man, I mean, they don't grow, so I think unless you pull them couches further, you're going to have to by default. But yep. I think you'd be, look, I mean, there's something to be said about the immersion. I've had OLED people at the studio, and once they see the immersion of a larger TV, they're like, they're ready to make the move. So I agree. That's really far away for a 77-inch.
It is.
Thank you for the super chat, bro. Congratulations on the new spot.
And Sean, El Jefe, El Jefe TV, could you go in the 9 Mark II settings and show the setting where you can see RGB versus white backlight to see if it still improves over the 9? So it's not the settings, it's always on RGB. Actually, you have to choose the right content. So we'll look for something. I think Speed Racer might have a scene that does that. So we'll do a little Speed Racer later. I think I found a scene in Speed Racer that'll give you that.
It would be nice if there was like a oh, what up, Sean?
It's been a while. It's been a while.
Where you been all my life?
He's been hiding in India.
He's been getting some sleep. Right? One night, it was one night where he was up all night. He's like, dude, we returned all the 8K TVs, Sean. I think he had a Bravia 9 to solve that, didn't he?
He's done with the Samsung 8Ks. Hi, FOMO and Brian. I was waiting for today. I have the Bravia 9. Should one wait for the Sony TCL collaboration result? Maybe it will be the Bravia 9 Mark III, because 9 is still doing very well. Yes, as you saw, the 9 is killing it right now. Also, matte finish on the Mark II. Yes, so real quick, the Mark II has amazing anti-glare. Some argue even better than the S95H, but it's not on the 115-inch because they could not get it that large. So the anti-glare, and I'll show you actually right now, when we have the 1917, you'll see how the anti-glare works with dark content. It's matte, it's excellent, it's pure, but it is matte. Yeah. But I don't think it's as aggressive as S95H, but it's only 65, 75, and 85 inch. At 115-inch, it will be semi-gloss, and the Bravia 7 Mark II does not have it. Okay, because 9 is still doing very well. Yeah, and
it is funny though. When I was shooting at Value Electronics, I had to literally time the day I had to shoot because of the glare on the Bravia 7 Mark II. Bravia 9 Mark II, but I just turned it on and went all the way through. Didn't matter if the TVs are on or the lights above me, nothing.
Right. And let's see, Slim Dunn, thank you for the super chat. Any new picture modes in the Bravia 9 Mark II or new features? Yes, but then the Bravia 9 is getting those new features. So we talked about independently adding wireless subwoofers directly. So that's a feature. But what's unique to the Bravia 9 Mark II is the anti-glare. So you guys will see that. And only up to 85 inches. 115, again, does not have that new anti-glare. Let me see, what other features on the Bravia 9 Mark II that separates from the Bravia 9? Other than RGB, it's slightly brighter, but no other features per se. Oh, yes, I forgot, Brian, you could add wood, real walnut wood frame around the Bravia 9. And I love that wood. It is like real walnut. It's amazing.
These guys are saying there's a backlighting mode that you can change between the color and white backlight. I don't know where that is in the settings, though.
I'm gonna have to look for that. It's not in the obvious settings for sure, but we'll look at that setting. Before we watch Speed Racer, we'll see. Hi, and thank you, Jasper, for the super chat. Hi, I have an LG C3 42-inch in Astrobot. The ABL and low brightness is very bad. Is the LG G5 more than plenty to fix this, or do I need a mini LED for max HDR pop? So the mini LED in game mode, the contrast, impact, and image processing simply isn't there. I would go, since you're on a smaller size, try a 55-inch S90F or S95F before you go to the G5. I think QD OLED Samsung Gaming gives you that pop. I just prefer it. So look at the 55-inch S90F or the 55-inch S95F, and this year would be the S95H. Definitely take a look at that. Also, the Bravia 8 Mark II 55-inch. Take a look and see if it gives you more pop than the C3. Because I think this is where the QD OLED really comes to its own. And Getty,
so my boy Luke, what's up, Getty? Sent me a message saying that it's in the local dimming section, just below auto local dimming.
Okay, what happened?
So what's up, Getty? Getty still rocking the 100. What do you buy? 100-inch Hisense U8K? What did Getty have? Getty was the one that was like making money selling TVs back and forth.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, he just sent me a picture. He said it's in the local dimming section. It'll say.
And
SDR.
I think Getty should be getting the Where do you go? Oh, wait, what? Okay, something is amiss.
You lost him.
Yeah, I lost him. There we go. Okay.
No, that's not him. That was the one before. Next one.
There we go.
There he is.
Yes. Swap it.
Oh, yeah, just
you okay for the 115 inch? 30 grand, my friend.
Yeah, I mean,
new car,
dude, that's a
new
funny,
car, new TV.
For those of you that don't know Getty, man, that was a crazy live stream because he literally was like treating his TV like the swap the market. He was like selling it, getting it back. He was saving money, making money.
And here's a good comment from Bradford. Can one of you contact Sony to put the glossy screen back on the Bravia 9 Mark II? I was going to get one, but no longer want the matte. Opinion, do I go with the Bravia 7 Mark II or the Bravia 8 Mark II? So first, the 115 inch does not have the matte. So if $30,000 is your budget, go for it. It is glossy. Second, between the 7 Mark II and the 8 Mark II, I would go with the 8 Mark II, but it only comes in a 55 and 65 inch. 77 inch, you'd have to go with the A95L. All three, I would choose over the 7 Mark II if you have light control. If your room is super bright, then the 7 Mark II could be the way to go, but I don't have the 7 Mark II here, so I can't tell you. Brian, what are your thoughts?
That side. It does. It looks good. I like the Bravia 7 Mark II looks great at it was at 98. We saw it there. It is funny though. I know you guys want the glossy, but when we were filming that, I couldn't see anything because it was so glossy. So there is time where it does make sense to have that kind of anti-glare screen.
And Caleb Rated showed a setting for it in his review. Yeah, so we heard it's in the mini LED section. We will play with that. Yeah. We'll see. And then I'll help you. So Brian will help me walk through that setting. Yeah. Is the Bravia 9 Mark II a matte screen like the S95H or anti-glare like the G6? It is more like the S95H. Not as aggressive of a matte, but definitely not glossy. I think it's right in between, but it's very effective, as you guys will see.
And it's definitely their own thing, because that's why they don't have it on the 115, is they haven't developed it yet. But it's their own thing, and it does look different than the others. It's pure black, which is great. I like the way it looks. And
Brandon is disappointed. Only 4K 120? I was hoping for 144.
Yeah,
if you guys are gaming above 120, you got to get an OLED. And you got to get either an LG or a Samsung. These mini LED TVs, whether it's 120, 144, or higher, they cannot keep up with that refresh. Once you add VRR, it's just too many things happening. You got the backlight that's got to keep up. You got the dimming zoom that's got to keep up. And you got VRR. It's a nightmare. Do not get a mini LED TV if you're looking for more than 4K 120. Get yourself an OLED and you have no problems, because these mini LED TVs are not gaming TVs beyond good console, right? So it's just something to keep in mind.
Yeah, even the other manufacturers that push it above and beyond, it just always seems to be having an issue with the pixel response. Sean is back.
Sean, former Brian, on my Bravia 9, I use IMAX experience mode for almost everything. It may be the most underrated. I use it after tweaking it as per my liking. The clarity and brightness is better than the other modes. If you could give me a comparison someday. Okay, I'll keep that in mind, Sean. The IMAX 9 Mark II versus 9. Yes.
Maybe I just find some movies like Dark Knight I know has that, and it's here again too. Sean.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, is we're going to play it from the beginning, because there are scenes where you have a close-up of his face, and I think you do have some colorful background scenes. So we'll see. We'll see if that works. Let's fast forward through this so I don't get in trouble.
We're watching.
So this is Speed Racer.
And you chose this scene? Well, you chose this scene out of all the scenes.
Skin tones, right?
Oh my god, bro. There we go. You're like a Speed Racer, crazy CG, and here's this kid writing at school.
We're asking.
You're DJing, man.
Well, they're asking about how color affects the skin tones. So you have a little bit of green behind the kid, right? You see that green, Brian? Remember what
Yeah.
Vincent was saying? If you have green in the background, it may affect the skin tone. And so you have
Yeah.
green and stuff, right? And you have the blue shirt. I mean, this is a typical scene here. And oh wait, let me get out of standard mode. Let's get them all accurate real quick, or out of
Let's put it
cinema.
back into the darkest mode possible.
Well, you gotta if you're gonna compare skin tones, right? Because people are asking, is this RGB thing an issue? And then you have the Bravia 8 Mark II, which is the standard for this, right? So I don't know. This scene looks fine. I mean, we're looking for real movie scenes where this could be an issue. Well, you got this bright green dinosaur behind him. So there we go. Okay, there you go. So you see that green behind his forehead, right? This is like a pale color. This is a brighter green. Are we seeing a difference in color between the three TVs? So the Bravia 9 uses a traditional white backlight. The Bravia 9 Mark II is this new RGB, true RGB. The question becomes, is there a green tint? And I don't see it. I think the RGB on the 9 is fine. And this is a good chance for us to go into that backlight setting that they were telling us. So it's probably in brightness. Down, down, down.
Should be near the local dimming.
It's under local dimming?
Should
What'd that
be
be?
right. If you look at let's see, auto local dimming, advanced contrast enhancer, auto local dimming, peak luminance. Should be in between.
Oh, there it
that.
is. Auto local dimming. But it's on mediums. That's correct. Oh, backlight mode.
Yeah.
White? Okay, so let me make it more sensitive.
What's up, Blaze? Brooklyn Blaze in the house. What's up, my friend?
So in white, the green is brighter. So the only shift I'm seeing is right here in this green, right? So look at the green. I'm going to toggle it back and forth for you guys.
This guy got the flu in this scene.
Color is more accurate. White, you're getting desaturated. But look at his skin tone. It doesn't seem to change. Let's see, going. You lose a little bit of color in his skin tone, I think. White color. White color. I'd stick with color. White.
Well, isn't that just to show
Color.
you the difference between what white is?
No, it's what it does is it turns off the RGB and makes everything white instead.
And why would you want that? Okay.
You would want that to avoid color crosstalk. I don't see the color crosstalk. So I don't know if it's a big deal. But again, this is not the right content possibly for that, right?
Yeah. Maybe it shouldn't just be a kid sitting in a classroom. Let's put some of them racing scenes on, baby.
No, but you have to have skin tone
kidding.
next to a
I'm just
bright
teasing.
scene, right? That's the problem. And this is why it's so hard to find these kind of things. Oh. So here's, but her face is not against a green background.
It's red.
Nope.
It's a lot brighter. The Bravia 9 Mark II is a lot brighter, though, no?
Slightly, yeah.
Let me see.
It actually matches a Bravia 8 Mark II.
Thank you, Blaze. Brooklyn Blaze, what's up, baby?
Let me see. Right here. There we go. Okay, here's a great scene. So this is up to 1500 nits, so you guys know. It's not quite 4000, but this is as bright as Hollywood gets right now. And all the TVs give you the spectral highlights you need. And contrast, I mean, this is amazing that they all look like QD OLED, right? Look at that. Changing the exposure. Look at the black levels. I mean, come on. And look at the black bars too. Excellent. And it's such a good match for the 3110. Let me go to another scene.
High Def, what's up? High Def in the
Let's
chat.
go to the grand finale. I'm looking at skin tones.
I haven't seen this movie in years.
Looking good. Oh, this is a great one too. Yeah, I mean, Brian, I think these are the scenes where you say OLED, or rather, Mini LED and RGB TV has caught up to OLED, because I can't see the difference in these kind of scenes. I mean, a lot of people says I can see the difference. Honestly, you can't, because I'm looking at this.
Can you put them in cinema?
Sure.
We'll see if it looks any different.
Cinema. Cinema.
See, that's where the big brightness stuff. Look at this. Now look at the Bravia 9 Mark II. Yep. That's a big jump in the Bravia 9 Mark II. They let F cinema preset.
Yeah, it's a little bit more in the spectral highlights for sure.
No, the whole thing's brighter. No?
No, look. See, very similar.
See more of it. Yeah, we talking about? I mean, look, I'm looking through my computer and your YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, but cinema is not supposed to be a lot brighter. You have to. That's why you have to go to standard. I think cinema, it just maybe elevates the shadow
standard,
detail.
baby. Come on, let's go. Wow, let's go. Wow,
let's go standard.
Do it.
Let's go standard. Let's see what happens. Standard. There you go. Much cooler, by the way, on the Bravia 9. So we are definitely now in standard.
There we go.
There we go.
Huge difference. Yeah, now that look at the Bravia 8 Mark II, it's like it's off. That's a huge difference. BVM's like, hey, that's not what I want.
Yeah, no. BVM's like, nope.
Yeah, so turn that thing off. It's got separate remotes for each one, guys. It's not that difficult. There you go.
Yeah, but this is very impactful. Very impactful.
Yeah, man, of course. That's what I'm seeing more than what we were seeing before. But I know what you're saying with professional. Look at it, it's night and day. Is this movie any good? I don't remember this movie being very good.
Is Alpha any good? I mean, we'll put that up at some point, but yes.
The Academy Award winning Speed Racer.
Ah, these scenes are just so phenomenal overall. For color, I mean, this is a real movie graded to show off its color, right? I just love it.
Yeah, man. That's dude. Next time, let's start with this. Look at the car, man. The Specular highlights everything.
Skin tones look good.
Well, the Bravia
Look at
9
that.
too is much brighter than Bravia 8 Mark II in this.
And remember, guys, we're in standard. So you're wondering, how come the colors are all different? Each one does standard a little bit differently to match its technology.
So if you want to see the Bravia 8 Mark II destroy everybody, put that in Dolby Vision Vivid. The Bravia 8 Mark II and Dolby Vision Vivid is like a cannon. Out of nowhere, bro. I mean, like, it's ridiculous.
Let's do 1917 so you guys can see shadow detail. Okay. Actually, you know what? I'm on alpha. Let's just do alpha real quick since we're here. 1917 next. And then you'll see the anti-glare in 1917. Okay. There we go.
Excuse me.
This is 4,000
Hey guys,
bits.
my video is going to be up later today at 4 o'clock. There's no point in me putting it out now, which is why I'm yawning my ass off. I was up all night editing, so please check out my video later today.
So let's change it back to filmmaker mode real quick from standard. Heck.
The film is awful.
There we go.
That's what I figured.
Oh, something went wrong. The Bravia 9 just froze up.
That's a little too much switching.
There we go. Much better. Okay. All right. Professional.
Actually, I actually bought this recently from, I told you, it was on Apple
It was
TV
on
for
sale?
like $1. I still can't watch it.
You sure?
still
These
can't
are
read
amazing, amazing scenes, Brian.
How's that movie? Oh, it's terrible. Dude, when he said that in front of like 100 people, I'll never forget that in LA. Hey, is it good? No, it's awful.
So the
Thank you,
Bravia-
Future. I appreciate you.
the Bravia 9 Mark II is the only one that matches the BVM in terms of this specular highlight, right? Because this specular highlight goes up to, let me show you that real quick,
Yes, I'll do a C5 versus C6 video very soon.
about
I have the,
3,500
C-
nits. So at
I got you,
3,500 nits, even the Bravia 9 cannot hit it. Only the Bravia 9 Mark II perfectly matches the BVM 3110. So it's those minor differences of about 1,000 nits that you buy the Bravia 9 Mark II in these scenes of bright specular highlights. So I'll show you another one. Oh, this is another super bright one. So this scene hits also, the brightest part of the scene is close to 4,000 nits. And I'm just looking at the specular detail to see the differences. Okay.
Sony made this movie, right? This is their movie.
Yes, it
not?
is. It is, definitely.
They're like, we put all our eggs in this one film.
I mean, look how bright the
Just
Bravia
for
9 Mark II is. The others don't even come close, right? The specular
Where
highlight
are
on
we
the
in
9
now?
Mark II,
We're back in. Are we in cinema? Or are we in
we're in
standard?
professional.
Ah,
in
see now.
professional.
Here
See?
it is. Professional.
It perfectly matches the specular highlight of the BVM 3110. For the first time ever, you have a Sony TV that mimics
Shit.
its own reference monitor. So the 9 was hoping to do it, never could. 9 Mark II does it. So I love it. And this is
thought
the
you were gonna
brightest
say,
movie you can buy,
finally.
by the way. Finally.
I
The
thought
brightest.
I thought you were
go
I thought
ahead.
you were going to say, finally, you can see Alpha as was meant to be seen.
Yes, yes.
Hey.
That is correct. As it was
Nah, it
meant to
looks
be
amazing.
seen. All right. And this next one will be the last specular highlight to show off the magic that is the Bravia 9. It was designed to show off. Okay, here we go. Look at that. Great. Looking good. And if you want to look at the shadow detail, just to see if you lose any shadow detail, you don't. Right? Shadow detail identical to the QD OLED, but the specular highlights are just so much there. Okay. And let's see. Oh, Let me get caught up with your super chats. Thank you, my friends.
That's great.
Let me see. Okay. I am Dave. And there is a question that's coming up next that I cannot wait to answer. I'm Dave. Thank you for that super chat. The $6,500 question. Coming from a smaller A90J, would you go with the 85 and add the trio later, or get the 75 and bundle the trio from the jump? Sitting about 11 feet away, both will be significant size increases. I would go with the 85 and add the trio later. Go with the 85, add the subwoofer now, right? 85 plus the sub
Now.
9. Now.
Now.
And then
now.
later add the trio and a second sub. That, I think, is the play for you. Because 11 feet away really is far. Because you'll regret getting the 75. That's just how it is. And Slim Dunn says, I thought you said the Bravia 9 Mark II will make dim Superman movie look better, but now you're saying there'll be no Dolby Vision 2 support. So Sony lied to you? Okay. This is it. What you saw earlier is what Brian said. In cinema, to me, for me, in Vivid, right, it elevates the movie the way it's supposed to be seen in terms of the brightness. So I do have Superman, and let's do that. Let's just see the differences between them. Because I think that's...
Lord Upperman, good morning.
Let's see, where's my Superman? Superman.
Yeah, that in the bad movie category. That's
yes,
what the crap movies are.
In the bad HDR category, Superman.
It's the new watercolor effect.
You know what? This is just too much. I'm just going to go alphabetical.
All those movies you choose freaking...
Let's see.
Yeah, mine's gonna go up at 4 o'clock. Oh, did Brandon get the 115-inch? Didn't see. Damn, Brandon got the 115-inch. Jesus.
He did?
Yep.
Nice. Whoops. Let's try this again. I think
Actually,
it's this one.
Does he have it? I don't see it. I see him showing it. I don't think he has it.
Or maybe it's on its way.
Oh, he pulled a bait and switch.
Okay, so we have a scene here that is an action scene with lighting and all that, right? So, all right, Slimmer, let's see. Of course.
Terrible. This made Man of Steel look like The Godfather.
Isn't that terrible?
I love Man of Steel, but I mean, damn, this movie was awful.
I mean, look how dim this is. Okay. Actually, you know what?
Puts
Let me
on
do this.
Transformers. Dyslexic.
Okay. Cinema. Standard. All right. Okay. Now, the way Sony tuned it, look at the reflections off of the armor. Oops.
That's the worst feeling in the world.
Here we go.
What are we in now? Oh, Vivid.
We are in Vivid on the 9 Mark II. And, okay, Vivid. This is Vivid on the Bravia 8 Mark II. You see the shiny armor that's on the 9 Mark II? It's not as luminescent as the 9 Mark II. The 8 Mark II, even though in Vivid, it's still flat. And this is why I think Sony's Vivid is just that much better on the Bravia 9 Mark II. So this is a movie you watch in Vivid mode. Look at how the gloss shines off of the armor right here. Look at that. Okay. So if you get the Bravia 9 Mark II calibrated in vivid mode, you'll get your white point and you'll get this level of shine. This is what Dolby Vision 2 is supposed to do. And this is exactly what I saw at the Sony event. Yeah. I'm like, whoa, this is it. Look at the specular highlights.
Because they do vivid and control. That's why. They're not, that's why they're not afraid of that.
I'm just looking for these. I mean, these are the action scenes that we're talking about, right? Look at the extra gloss or the extra luminescent reflections that's on the Bravia 9 Mark II. This is how an action movie should look like, right? You have that extra pop from the explosions, from the shiny armor. The 9 and the 8 Mark II look identical. That's on the older, I guess, approach to how you do vivid. On the 9 Mark II, they're elevating that highlight more than they would on the 9 or the 8 Mark II. Now, can this be done in a firmware update in the future? Probably, but right now the 9 Mark II is designed this way already. And I think you should do that for all vivid modes. So Sony, all your vivid mode needs to copy the 9 Mark II, because the 9 and the 8 Mark II is just getting everything brighter. I'm not getting the specular highlight that I should get, that I'm seeing here. So
Jamie Roll had the best comment. He said the Bravia 9 Mark II can do a lot of things, but it can't make this movie watchable.
There's only so much I can do.
What's up, Terry? Terry's still rocking the Z9K.
Yeah, I just love how it makes the armor pop against the background. This is just unique to the 9 Mark II right now.
But if you put, I think if you put them in standard, you'll see the same difference if you put them in standard. I think between the three.
Let's see. Nope. Look at that. It's flat. The standard on the 9 is very flat. It's very. It just makes everything brighter. See, and I'll turn it up the exposure so you guys can see the difference, right? Okay, so they're all in standard now. Look, the flat. It's all very similar, right? They're similarly flat. It's only when you go to Vivid does that extra. I don't know. I just think they tuned Vivid differently.
It's the live color and everything, yeah.
And even then, it's that brightness, right? Color's just adding more saturation, but they, at the higher frequencies or the higher brightness levels, they added even more to the higher. I mean, Dolby Vision 2 Max, that's what I want them to do. So I just love that the Bravia 9 Mark II is doing a little bit of that tuning. All right, so to answer your question, Slim Dunn, it has nothing to do with Dolby Vision 2 Max, but rather, it's not hard to figure out what Dolby Vision 2 Max did. They took the metadata, knowing what's bright, what's not bright, and just tuning that brightness where it's above, I don't know, 20%, make it even brighter than that. So it's math, and Sony decided to play with the math, so I love that. All right. Sean, thank you for hanging around. Not only me, I feel companies are done with 8K for a while. That is true. They're done. But I had the privilege and experience of enjoying them through my mom, though my mom never noticed DSC. Maybe
Sean,
it's for like TV mad people. I know. He's had every generation of the Samsung 8K
Sean,
TV.
Sean,
and he's returned to every one.
TVs aged you, bro.
Well, it's because of DSC, right? He couldn't handle the DSC.
He had the 900, 900Q, 990, he had them all. He was like, he went back to a Bravia 9, I think.
Yep, he did.
Yeah,
well, he is on the Bravia 9 now, right? So he loves the Bravia 9.
Oh, he is, yeah. Yeah, I think they're done.
Do you think the Bravia 9 Mark III for 2027? No. Sony takes at least 2 years, maybe even 3 years before they make the jump. They don't do iterative improvements.
And this year, FOMO, with the new partnership, you might see that even further.
Now, in 2027, they might release a new OLED. That's a different discussion. But they're not going to be updating the Bravia 9 to the Mark III for at least, in my opinion, 3 years. I think it'll be... And then TCL will take charge by then. Who knows what TCL will do? Maybe TCL will introduce something earlier. But Sony normally doesn't upgrade a huge jump in panel technology like this for at least 2 years.
TCLs every 6 months.
Yeah, I know, right?
They're like, check this out. WHVAAB, new panel.
NXS, thank you for the super chat. I heard what you said about gaming. I'm coming from a Samsung QN75, Q9 FNA. Loved my console gaming. I'm not a PC gamer. Will the Bravia 9 Mark II work for me? Yes.
Yeah,
yes, it will. There's no doubt about that. Yeah.
If you're a console gamer, they have one of the best looking game modes in the business. I think you'll be very happy.
Oh, there we go. I have to get in the right mode because it just looks so much better. This movie looks so much better in Vivid. This is how Superman should look. Oh, all right. Cards Forever. 98-inch X11L or 98-inch Bravia 7 Mark II. Movie watching dark room. The X11L has more dimming zones. TCL really knows how to do blooming control and dimming zone on the X11L. Without seeing the Bravia 7 Mark II, I think the 98 X11L is as close as you're going to get to the Bravia 9 Mark II. Those are the top two. Brian, what are your thoughts?
They're same. I mean, the Bravia 9 Mark II and the X11, that's going to be the two titans. I mean, the Bravia 7 Mark II is excellent, but if you're going to compare those two, it has to be those. I would say QMAL Bravia 7 Mark II.
Now Cards is watching in a dark room. Does that brightness make a difference? Maybe I'm beginning to second guess that.
Man. I watch bright room stuff in a dark room too, man.
But then on the 7.2, you can match it with a subwoofer. You know what? Hearing you say dark room,
Flex Connect on the 98.
Yeah, but that subwoofer is not good enough, in my opinion. The Sub 9 is a dual sub. The Flex Connect on the TCL is a single sub, more of a lifestyle sub. I think the Sub 9... Okay, I'm going to walk back this one. In a dark room, I would go with a 98-inch 7 Mark II plus...
Over the X11L? Over the X11L?
In a dark room?
You're crazy.
I'm back to Columbo, baby. In a dark room,
with QMAL versus dude, you're crazy, man.
I'd go with the 7 Mark II
X11L versus Bravia 9 Mark II.
I'm gonna go with the Bravia 7 Mark II 98-inch plus sub over the 98-inch X11L. That's what I would do.
I would not do that.
I just like the skin tones on the Sony. I do not get consistent skin tones off the TCL.
Bravia 9.
Sean, what about sports comparison in 1080p? Bravia 9, even after 2 years, still looks good. Agreed. We'll do that after the 1917 dark scene. We're going to go to 1917 dark scene. I'll then put on YouTube TV, sports, and we'll see what happens. What about, let's see, I agree though, Bravia 9 is amazing for sports. Also, RGB technology will be more refined next year. From the other makers, I hope so, because I think Hisense has fallen behind in terms of overall image quality using RGB. So they took 2 steps forward with mini LED and then 1 step back by adding RGB. They need to refine their dimming zone image processing next year. Do nothing more. Add dimming zones and improve your software and you should be good. So would it be better to wait for next year if someone wants to buy an RGB? Both experts' opinion. If you're buying a Sony RGB, you could buy it now because next year it's just a firmware update. They're not changing the technology for the next 2 years. Everyone else, you should wait. So Hisense UR9, Samsung Micro RGB, they will get better next year because every year they get slightly better. TCL is sticking with SQD. Next year, I think the issues with RGB mini LED are a problem for TCL this year as well. I mean, they went out and actually said, RGB mini LED, not as good as our SQD. Next year, will they address those issues? I don't think so. I think their dimming zone count on the SQDs will always be ahead of their dimming zone count on the RGB. And it feels to me like TCL optimized their software for more dimming zones. So if you have less dimming zones, you're not at the optimal dimming zone count if you're TCL. Whereas Sony optimizes for fewer dimming zones. Their software is doing more of the heavy lifting. So Sony, I trust, does a better job with fewer dimming zones than anybody else out there. But Brian, would you buy an RGB TV this year? If you take Sony out of the equation, because we know the Bravia 9 is amazing, but would you buy an RGB TV this year?
I mean, compared to if I'm new in the market, I mean, for me, it would still just be SQD. Would be
you still go with
one I kind
SQD?
of would go for. I mean, because RGB over last year, the second gen Samsung and Hisense are much better than they were the year before. But I mean, it depends on what you're coming from too, because local dimming is not going to be quite as good. Samsung's local dimming is actually much better than it was last year. But Hisense, I mean, it's just bright and colorful. But it's a hard call, man. Depends on what you're coming from, always, as always. But Sony's is matured already. Once again, they've been coming out for years with it.
Yeah.
I got about 5 more minutes. I have to go pick the kid up at school.
Oh, then you'll be here. We'll go to 1917 right now. We'll get to more super chats. I want Brian to see how it does in dark scenes. And you can see the anti-reflection in action. All right. There we go. Got to turn off my light, or rather close the drapes so I could do a hyper. Oh, there we go. Okay, we'll pause right here. Okay, so this is no changes to the TV's default settings. You could play with the gamma, obviously, but out of the box, the Bravia 9 actually matches the gamma perfectly on the reference monitor. Both the 8 Mark II and the 9 Mark II is a little bit brighter than reference, but I know that if you go into the gamma setting on the Bravia 9, you can take that down a touch. In a bright room, obviously, they will all look the same. Everything will look crushed, but the 9 Mark II has slightly brighter shadow detail. But again, if you go into gamma, drop it, the dark detail 2 notches, you'll be down exactly where the Bravia 9 is. And the 8 Mark II obviously has better contrast, so it is the most clarity, but it is a bit lifted. On both of these, I would take what we call shadow or dark black levels, take it 2 notches down, and it will match the BVM 3110, because darkroom watching is a thing. Now, while we're in this scene, what I'm going to do is see if you guys can see. Oh, there we go. Okay, so Brian, do you see me in front of the... Brian, can you see my reflection?
I see it on the Bravia 8.
Okay.
Wait, do it again?
So this is the Bravia 8 Mark II.
Yep, you can see a little bit. Yep.
And this is the... I have to get out of the way of the camera. This is the Bravia 9. You see me?
Yep.
Okay, and this is the Bravia 9 Mark II.
You even no, put it on the TV.
Okay, so this is on the TV,
Oh, there you go. Okay.
right?
Oh, I see it. Yep. Yeah, for a minute there, I'm like, wow, that's amazing. I couldn't see anything.
Well, you couldn't see.
Oh, you see the you see the scatter. You see the scatter effect on the.
Now you see, this is the actual light. What I did was this. See, I'm doing this. I'm putting it against my shirt. That's why I'm wearing a white shirt today.
Oh, to have it more of a
Yes.
yeah, like an ambient. Yep.
See, on the Bravia 9, you really see that. Obviously, on the 8 Mark II, there, and then you hardly see it at all on the Bravia 9 Mark II, right?
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so that's why I'm a big fan of this. And it doesn't affect the image quality. So a lot of you are like, oh, I'd rather just not get the 9 to avoid the matte. I think the matte is fine. Not noticeable to me at all. Okay.
All right, guys, I'm going to bounce. FOMO.
All right, Brian, thank you so much, my friend.
My pleasure. Guys, check out my video at 4 o'clock. I'll do a premiere, and you'll see the 65-inch Bravia 9 Mark II. FOMO, have a good time. Guys, everyone, check out the channel.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you. Take
care, guys.
Have a great day, buddy. All right, there goes Brian. And let's get caught up with some of your super chats, and then I'll take suggestions as far as movie content, or settings or whatnot. Okay, Mr. Upscale Man. Ooh, whoa, way too overexposed. Oh, much better. Okay, play some hockey so we can see how RGB handles mostly white. All right, we shall do that. Let's see here. Oh, you know what? I gotta swap out. Okay. Let's see. A little bit of hockey here. Turn off the reference monitor real quick. Okay. Let's do some hockey on YouTube. Okay, I'll try to do sports on YouTube TV, see what happens. So then you get some of the upscaling and all that. Oh, preview for 20 minutes. I'll take it. Okay. Oh, there it is, hockey. Oh. Oh. Nope. They won't let me do a free one. I forgot to get this done. So what I'll do is we'll do a pre-recorded version on YouTube. Sorry, I was hoping to get something on a live feed. That did not work. There we go, hockey highlights. Okay, let's get you into sports mode. Handles mostly white. Standard mode, I guess, would be the play here. Nah, it's too blue. Let's get into standard. Ooh, yes, this is pretty bright. All right. So the Bravia 9 Mark II is quite a touch brighter than the rest. Let's go to Vivid, just in case you guys were wondering. Vivid takes it up a notch. Way up a notch. Obviously, OLED cannot keep up. And so, Bravia 9 Mark II is probably at a similar brightness as the X11L, full screen. This is the difference I saw between the X11L and the Bravia 9, so it's close. This Bravia 9 definitely very bright for hockey. There's no doubt about that. The DSC looks great on all these TVs. I don't see any kind of tinting or dirty screen effect here. Hopefully, this satisfies your curiosity. Okay, let's see what else we got. So there you go, Mr. Upscale Man. Again, taking requests. What else do you want to see? Thank you for the super chat, Star-Lord. I got to find your question. So if there's a question, keep on asking. I'll find it. And Getty says, I'm curious to see the Bravia 9 versus the Bravia 7 Mark II. Everyone is, but I'll tell you this. That 9 is performing so closely to the 9 Mark II. I don't know if the 7 Mark II could beat the 9. I'm just telling you that. Maybe, because I know for sure it's less bright than the 9 Mark II. But if it's less bright, does that make it the same brightness as the 9? So yeah, that's a good question. We'll see. And Pry asks, coming from the 55-inch LG C2 OLED in a bright room, pure movie streaming content, watching 98-inch SQD RGB TV or 83-inch OLED. Okay, we are at the point where flagship SQD RGB is awesome, but the only RGB TV at the 98-inch size that's super awesome will be the X11L or the Bravia 7 Mark II. And I think at that size, I'd go with either the X11L or the Bravia 7 Mark II because that jump in size is huge. It is, yeah. I mean, we're talking 15 inches larger than the 83-inch. That immersion, I think, makes a big difference. Sure, off angle is slightly going to be worse, but I don't know. I'd go with a bigger TV. Sean, hey, you're still around. I know it is really late for you over there in India. Oops. I keep on getting this wrong. There you go. There you go. Okay. FOMO. If you were a normal TV guy, not an expert, you have a Bravia 9 85-inch and you watch sports on 1080p and movies on Netflix, would you buy Bravia 9 Mark II or TCL X11L this year? Or wait, as Bravia 9 almost does it for you? The Bravia 9 definitely does it for me. 1080p, movies on Netflix, all that stuff. The Bravia 9 is really there. The 9 Mark II is if I watch a lot of HDR movies and I'm very dissatisfied with how it is. We're talking action movies, Guardians of the Galaxy or Avengers or that horrible Superman dim movie, right? Then in vivid mode, it elevates that. So the Bravia 9 Mark II does that very well. But if it's just Netflix streaming, old TV shows and sports, the 9, I mean, you see it right here, right? Slightly less bright, but everything there is just so solid. TCL X11L, if I need 98 inches, and the 9 stops at 85. Whereas 9 Mark II goes up to 115 for 30 grand. So that 98-inch X11L or the Bravia 7 Mark II X11L, those would be the two I'd consider at that size because really your choices are limited this year as far as flagship level performers. Okay. All right, let's see what you guys have for questions. And I know I need to answer a question from Star-Lord. So Star-Lord, if you're still there, ask away and I'll find your question and we'll answer it. Because I'm kind of scrolling. I don't see Star-Lord's question at all. Okay, what else do you guys want to see on the Bravia 9 Mark II versus the rest? Let me take this back down to filmmaker just so we have a common standard. So, or professional mode. I know Sony doesn't have filmmaker mode. They believe their professional is actually better than filmmaker mode, so they call it professional mode. And as far as subtle differences, the Bravia 9 Mark II does not have the green desaturation of the other TVs. The other TVs have that green desaturation, meaning the Bravia 9 and 8 Mark II, but it's not on the 9 Mark II. So you guys are wondering if there's any differences. It's very minor. Color science is still similar, but it doesn't have that desaturation issue at all. So let me put it back on some Jennifer Gala's good stuff, and then we'll see what questions you have. Actually, let's do this one. There we go. Okay. Let's see what questions you guys have. Squantron Gaming. Sir, can you compare the Sony Bravia 7 Mark II with the Samsung R95H? R95H incoming sometime end of the month, beginning of June, end of June. So I'll get the R95H at some point. And 7 Mark II, I'll have to ask Sony when that one will be available. But yes, definitely we can do that for you, my friend. And let's see what else you got here. How is the color banding on these TVs? Sony fixed color banding on the Bravia 8 Mark II, and I don't think color banding was ever a big issue. Let me move this to the side here so it's out of the way. Was ever a big issue on the Bravia 9. So as it's not an issue with the Sonys, I haven't taken a look because you really do need specific content for that. But what I'll do is I do have Monster Hunter, and Monster Hunter does have some of those banding type patterns. So if you guys want, we can do that. FOMO, do you think, how likely is Sony going to do QD OLED in 2027? Very likely they will update their QD OLEDs, but let me ask you this, what is there to update? Honestly, right? When I get the S95H, I will definitely compare it to the Sony Bravia 8 Mark II. And if it literally looks similar, then the question becomes, what's the point of updating? So, you know, it's like, what are you updating? And I love that these TVs look so similar, by the way. And look how good the Bravia 9 looks. I'm trying to see if I can see differences in color, and I really don't. It's just better dimming zone and tone mapping control on the Bravia 9 Mark II over the Bravia 9. But in content where I know Jennifer Gala is putting out extra color, you're not seeing that extra color on either the QD OLED or the Bravia 9 Mark II. I'll just pause it right there real quick. It just looks so good, all of them. I would be unable to tell the difference between OLED and non-OLED. So that's why when I tell you guys that we're there, when you're on angle, you cannot tell the difference. Actually, let me see this one. Okay. In 2027, I'd take an 83-inch Sony OLED over the 85-inch 9 Mark II. Most content, the 9 Mark II doesn't do much. If you're watching professional mode or cinema, you're going to have to go to something like Vivid to elevate the content. But you're right, if you're watching just normal content, OLED really is consistent across the board. Whatever happened to FOLED is still waiting. Blame it on the chemistry makers, right? They haven't perfected FOLED to be sold to either LG Display or Samsung Display. So until they get FOLED produced as a chemical that's stable, the stable blue, no one's going to use it. So it's not the TV maker's fault. Blame it on the ones in charge of creating FOLED chemicals. Do you recommend the Sony Bravia Mark II for movie watching in the darkroom? Absolutely. Sony Bravia 9 Mark II, Sony Bravia 9, Sony Bravia 8 Mark II. All of them do well. But the 8 Mark II is probably the best because the contrast is so perfect. But the 9 Mark II, you guys saw 1917 about 30 minutes ago. Looks great. Get it calibrated, you're set. So if you watch darkroom, like serious darkroom, I suggest you calibrate all these 3 TVs for darkroom watching. So that way you know what reference is in a dark room. And of course, Robert Zone, Law Electronics will do that. Speaking of Robert Zone, I mean, this is a good time to shout him out really quick because he's taking pre-orders right now on the Bravia 9 Mark II, as well as calibrating any of the TVs, right? So whether it's the Bravia 8 Mark II, Bravia 9, or Bravia 9 Mark II, if you buy it from Robert Zone, he will calibrate it at the shop. Just let him know, hey, I want to pay for calibration, and then he'll get it broken in. He will do a QC, so if there's any pixels, stuck pixels, or any DSE, he will replace the TV with a better one that doesn't have those issues. And the calibration also includes, if you want, you can tell him, I want gaming calibrated, I want Dolby Vision calibrated, I want bright room calibration, I want perfect reference in a dark room, all of that. Robert's team will get it done. Dwayne Davis is the man in charge. He's the one that calibrated my LG G6, which will be on its way. So yes, thank you so much, Robert, for sponsoring this video. Okay, and we are back. Is Sony totally giving up on OLED in the future? That's a hard one. And this is why. QD OLED already looks so good. Whether it's the Samsung S95F, S95H, S90F, or even the G5 and the C6H, right? If you guys look at recent reviews, whether it's mine, whether it's ratings, what do you guys notice? It's barely better than the G5. What does that tell you? Where's the improvement? It's all in processing. The technology itself is already there. Now, I know LG improved to 6 nanometer to fix all of its posterization issues that was on the G5, but Samsung and Sony fixed it without having to update their processor, right? So you were already there. The question is, what does Sony need to do to quote unquote add a new model, like an updated QD OLED? What's wrong with the Bravia 8 Mark II? It's super bright. And the G6, once I get it, we'll test to see how much quote unquote brighter it is. But is that all we're asking for? We're asking for Sony to update its OLED so it can get a little bit brighter. If you needed that bright, that's what the Bravia 9 or Bravia 9 Mark II is for, or Bravia 7 Mark II. So if you need brightness, why are you looking at OLED, right? You got to get the right tool for the right job. And so that's a great question because it brings forth why the issue. Why does OLED need to be brighter? They're already bright enough. Like, look at the Bravia 8 Mark II. This is pretty bright. Let me turn on the reference monitor. The Bravia 8 Mark II isn't quite as bright as the 9 or the 9 Mark II, but it's bright enough. I mean, this is Jennifer Gala's bright scenes, right? So what, I mean, look, this is the reference monitor. I mean, what are we asking, and not just Sony, what are we asking from LG, Samsung, or Sony when we say, can you update your OLED? These are phenomenally difficult scenes that are bright. That's 2000 nits right there, and that's a reference monitor. Are you telling me the Bravia 8 Mark II isn't bright enough? It is literally matching the two, one RGB, the other mini LED, and the last is the reference monitor. So you can't tell me that it's not bright enough when this content is never even seen in real life. This is Jennifer Gala grading to a brighter level for you guys, right? And I mean, look how bright it is. Look at the reference, right? It's, I don't know. Where are we going here? So that's a great question because it opens another box, a can of worms. What do TV makers need to do next? If you're matching the reference monitor at the flagship level, I know what you're saying. Make it cheaper. Okay, let's get here at under $1,000. We're not here at under $1,000. We're here at over $2,000, right? Whether it's the Bravia 9, the Bravia 9 Mark II, or the Bravia 8 Mark II, you got to pay over $2,000 to get to this level of near perfection, where the reference monitor 3110 represents perfection. It's a 30-inch monitor that's $30,000. That's how close these TVs are getting to a $30,000 reference monitor. And you're asking me, can we get an OLED update? And I'm wondering why, other than gaming. Okay, well, I'll give you that. So yeah, let me know. What is it you guys want from the OLED TVs that you're not getting right now from the Bravia 8 Mark II or the S95H or the G6 or the G5 or the C6H? FOMO, have you reached the point where TVs now look too bright and bother your eyes? Yes, in a dark room. So here's the issue, right? I mean, right here, this is a dark room. If you're watching HDR like this in a dark room, there is fatigue because you're watching a small point of light that gets really bright. And if you guys haven't seen my last video, it was sponsored by Govee. That was one thing I didn't expect, because as I was talking to Govee, going through all their features, Govee's like, one of the benefits is with these bright TVs, the backlight helps make everything larger. The level of brightness now kind of matches your ambient light. So the room is dark, but the ambient backlighting on the wall expands your field of view a bit. It helps reduce your eyes, well, the iris, right? So your iris is now is no longer hyper expanded to see a small dot, but it shrinks a little, and it's helpful. So that it is an issue. If you're watching SDR in reference, right? And I'll show you how SDR reference looks. It's a lot dimmer than this. We're talking SDR is like 100 nits. This is over 1,000 nits in specular highlights on all these three TVs. So yes, I understand the complaint. Many people don't like HDR because of this brightness. I like the impact because I'm watching movies. I want that impactful movie that hits me. But if I'm watching movies like, I keep on using On Golden Pond, right? But these dramatic movies where it's not about the impact of the scene, it's about the story, it's about the characters and the dialogue. You don't need HDR. SDR is absolutely fine. And so in those movies, it's much dimmer. It's at reference in a room between 100 and 200 nits. The HDR impact is irrelevant. Okay, so EvilX is saying, these are the improvements he wants. Thinner, cheaper, better black levels, and viewing angles for LCDs. So for sure, we are there with the black levels on LCD TVs, but they're not thinner and they're not cheaper. Actually, they're heavier and thicker because LCD TVs has multiple stacks it needs to get to better black levels and better viewing angles. And I think this is, let me talk about viewing angles. Because these TVs are not on wheels, I'm going to have a hard time showing the differences in viewing angles. So I'm going to look for a nice saturated scene that we can demonstrate loss of color, relatively speaking, between all these TVs. So I think the best one would be this one right here. Here we go. This Savannah. Okay, let me test the viewing angle really quick myself. Now, I'm going to put on Netflix because skin tones is easier to see the loss in viewing angle. So we'll put it back on Apex so you guys can see the shift in skin tone colors when your viewing angle is off. Let's see here. That's a good one. All right. I want to make sure I get the right color saturation here for you guys. You know what? We do this. Yeah, that's better. Okay. Okay, I think that'll do it. So this is on angle, right? Now let me take it off angle real quick. me see if you guys see what I see here. Okay. Look at how closely the Bravia 9 Mark II looks like the OLED off angle. That's actually very impressive. Very impressive. Yes, this RGB off angle makes a huge difference. I'd say very good. Works very well. Let's bring it back again. There we go. Okay. Yeah. Bravo, 9 Mark II. It's more like an OLED than ever before. What are you guys' thoughts? Are you impressed by the off angle? Yes, I agree. Time 2 must, cup 2. This off angle, absolutely, it works. OLED looks better? Of course. When you're under 1,000 nits, I think OLED is the de facto benchmark for all TVs. There's no doubt about it. Okay, let's see. And let me double check, make sure I have all your super chats. Oh, Sean, you're still here. Thank you, my friend, for that super chat. Will Sony quality be affected or elevated with TCL? The answer is, I think it will be elevated, but it depends. So, this is why I say it'll be elevated. It appears that TCL is not going to make the Bravia brand a cheaper TV. They are going to keep it as a premium lineup to separate Bravia from TCL. So TCL will continue to sell TVs, but now TCL can focus on giving you a value, a budget, so to speak. Whereas if you go Bravia, they're going to charge you a little bit more, but then you have premium features, right? And as with all things premium, more expensive parts lead to, hopefully, predictably, a more durable TV. So you're paying for not necessarily higher performing parts, but maybe the stuff that you don't see, more durable parts, right? More metal, less plastic, because you got to cut costs somewhere when you're building to a budget. Whereas if the Bravia ends up being, and I'm speculating here, I believe, based on what I've heard and seen, that Bravia wants to define the TCL Sony partnership as a premium lineup. So dollar for dollar, you're going to pay a little bit more for a similar version of a Bravia TV to get additional longevity, durability, whatever it is, right? Just a little bit more sturdier build. That's my expectation. Can TCL make Sony produce a Bravia 9 Mark III sooner than expected? Absolutely. Now that Sony has access, or rather Bravia has access to TCL's full stack of its latest and greatest accomplishments month to month. TCL is very quick, if you guys haven't noticed, every year. It's not just iterative, it's like generational jumps from what they have access to. Bravia now has access to that. But the question is, going from a Bravia 9 Mark II to Mark III, I think Sony's going to have to wait for two things. One, they're going to, well, they already are. They are validating the latest MediaTek SoC to see if they can adapt it and elevate it on the Bravia 9 Mark III. So by the 9 Mark III, you're going to get 4 times full gaming ports, Dolby Vision 2 Max, but all that has to be tuned. The question is, how long is it going to take to tune the latest MediaTek chip with the latest Sony panel? 2 years? 3 years? So that is the only question. So TCL can't help accelerate that. All TCL could do is say, hey, here are the parts, but Sony still has to tune it. And that is what takes the longest, I think. Okay. And regarding banding or DSC, my Bravia 9 turned out to be flawless. Yes, that's why we love Sony TVs generally. Although, to be fair, the 8 Mark II had issues of posterization the first 6 months. Eventually, they fixed it by the end of 2025, but it's not always perfect. Oh, let me take this off before Charlize Theron calls me and says, hey, you owe me. Okay, let's bring it back. to, well, actually, you know what? Before we bring it back, let me got all your questions. I might find another scene to play with. Now that you've seen both the X11L and the Bravia 9 Mark II, which TV do you like better? So this is one where, man, I am so torn. So first, I need the Bravia 9 Mark II side by side next to the X11L. I have not done that. I've seen them separately. Like literally the X11L is in the other room. The Bravia 9 Mark II is right here, but you got to go side by side. I think, and until we do it, I can't validate it. I predict the Bravia 9 Mark II has better vivid mode. It has that HDR impact that's lacking on the X11L in vivid mode. In vivid mode, the X11L, everything becomes bright, right? But it's not tuning the highlights the way the Sony is. That's my prediction. Doesn't mean that it's true. So once I get the 75-inch 9 Mark II, I'll have it side by side next to the X11L, and then we'll answer the question more definitively. So yeah. But right now, which do I like better? I like how the 9 Mark II is tuned in vivid. Now, cinema mode, filmmaker, professional, they're all accurate. They all look great. I will tell you that the 9 Mark II is more accurate out of the box. The X11L will need it'll need calibration. The problem is you can't calibrate the X11L well. It's what it is. So out of the box, if you're okay with its color accuracy, which isn't bad, it's actually pretty good, then great. But if you want it calibrated, you got to go with the 9 Mark II because the X11L doesn't calibrate well. It just doesn't have the controls right now. All right. Next up, Dreeg. Hey, thank you for the super chat. TCL future TVs will not be getting Sony processing. The deal more so is to help Sony TVs than TCL TVs. Definitely is to help the Bravia brand. So for the Bravia to make money, it needed access to vertical integration, and that's TCL. But not only that, TCL is handling the marketing, TCL is handling everything, including the customer service, distribution, full stack. So TCL will be handling everything from A through Z. Processing is available to TCL. I just don't know what the terms of that sharing is. Does TCL have to pay more to have access to Sony engineers? I don't know. But definitely TCL is in charge of all costs associated with building the new Bravia TVs starting now, moving forward. Sean, thank you for the super chat. Bravia 9 Mark II versus TCL X11L. When can we expect that? So as soon as I can get the 75-inch in, you can expect it. Because I think right now 65 versus, I see this Apex, I'm sorry. I just got to tick it off this. I know you guys want to see real scenes, so I'm going to put it back on YouTube real quick. Actually, you know what? Let's put it on, let's put it on YouTube. I was going to put it on TV content, but we don't want to get hit for issues. So we'll just do it on YouTube right now. And there we go. Okay. All right. Okay, so yes, expect a 9 Mark II versus TCL. I should be getting the 75-inch in a few weeks, definitely sometime in June, by the end of June. So we will have that. And don't forget, the Shootout will have them same size, next to each other, fully calibrated. That actually may be more telling. So the Shootout on July 18, TCL X11L versus Bravia 9 Mark II versus Samsung's micro RGB. That could even be the bigger answer for you. And let's see. Also, Bravia 9 Mark II will come to my country in October. Oof, can you wait, Sean? Maybe by that time, few upgrades will make everything clearer how good it is. Till then, all Bravia 9 owners should be happy with what they have. Oh, after what I've seen, totally. Are you kidding me? That Bravia 9 was not outclassed. 9 Mark II, slightly better. But like a whole generation better. We're at the point where the 9 was so good that I don't know what the 9 Mark II can bring to the table beyond better tuning of vivid mode. I mean, that's what I'm seeing, right? So for sure, I am impressed by the 9 Mark II. I'm super impressed by the addition of the wireless connection, but that's also available on the Bravia 9 and the Bravia 8 Mark II now. So yes. All right. This is a good point. I'm going to bring this up, Yoga. So if you guys didn't catch it. Vincent had an interview with Nanosys, and they were trash talking RGB, saying, hey, you got the impure colors, you have issues with color crosstalk. All of that is correct in terms of if you have the pattern up, you will see those issues. The question then becomes, do you see it in real content? And that's what we as reviewers always struggle with. In real content, are those issues there? Just like in patterns, the G5 or the G6 hit 4,000 nits, but in real content, it's identical to the C6H. Like, wait a minute. The G6 and the C6H in bright real content look identical, but then when you put on a pattern, the G6 blows the doors off the C6H. You see the issue? When you have patterns, you can demonstrate good and bad, but when you put in real content and you can't tell the difference, is there a point to that? So I've reached out to Nanosys, said, Nanosys, it's not enough you're giving me patterns. No one's watching patterns. I see it. I see the flaws in the patterns. We are not disputing that. But can you give me movie scenes, either that you've made or that you have found that this is an issue, and then I will test it, and then we will see for ourselves, hey, in this scene, in this movie, you see that crosstalk? That's a bad scene. And I haven't seen it so far. Now, I haven't seen every movie scene, obviously, but it's something to keep in mind that you got to take these flaws with a grain of salt. We need to also show you in this movie, you see, this is the problem. And until we can actually say that, it's not a problem. So yes, thank you for that reminder. Dear sir, I think I found your super chat. Can you compare between the Samsung micro RGB and Sony micro RGB? Which one is better? Yes, that is coming up. As soon as I get the Sony 5-inch R95H, I will compare that to the Sony 5-inch RGB TV, Bravia 9 Mark II. So they're both RGB. Sony is true RGB and Samsung is micro RGB. Let's see if it makes a difference. And yeah, we'll see which one is better. All right. And thank you, Dreeg, for that super cat, and thank you for hanging out. Okay, I think Nanosys is mad because with RGB TVs, it means you don't have to pay for the quantum dots. Yes. So RGBs literally get rid of the quantum dot backlights. So that means they're losing out on money. Yes, they are. And you know, it's their business, right? What are you going to do? And I love that they're trying, but the next step for Nanosys is find me scenes, real movies. And I know they did a great job looking for movies with BT 2020. And so they did that last year and the last few years. How about finding me movies where crosstalk affects the image quality, where I see the skin tones changing, right? Because it's not enough that you're throwing me a pattern where it's unrealistic, where the green is like 2,000 nits and the face is 100 nits, right? That doesn't happen. People don't grade like that in real life, but I can create a pattern like that where my face is 100 nits or 10 nits, and then the background is bright green at 2,000 nits, right? Only OLED will pass that test. But what kind of color grader does that? No one. And so that's something that I want to see from Nanosys. And I know you're watching, the Nanosys friends. Let me know. What can you do with real content? Fahid Dries asks, how is the Bravia 7 Mark II compared to the Bravia 9 and the TCL QM8L? Excellent, excellent question. They're all within a similar price range. I have the Bravia 9. I have the QM8L, which I love, by the way. That TV is a phenomenal HDR impact TV. I would choose that TV even over the X11L. For bright room, normal room watching, that 8L just hits you hard. It does very similar to what the Bravia 9 Vivid Mode does. I love it. And the Bravia 7 Mark II. You know, how do they all do? I'm going to have to ask Sony, hey, when can you send me a Bravia 7 Mark II to compare? Because that will be the value battle among the mid-tier TVs, no doubt. But I have to tell you, the Bravia 9 has a special place in my heart. I hope they produce it for another year or two, because look how good it performs right here. The 9 versus 9 Mark II. Is there even a difference, right? Slight if I push the brightness and the vivid. But other than that, in regular content, indistinguishable. So Bravia 9, thank you for being awesome. It is a collector's item, guys. If you can get the Bravia 9 for cheap, actually call Robert Zone. He has access to the last bit of inventory of the Bravia 9. Get a size up. So Bravia 9 Mark II, you saw the price, right? I would say get the Bravia 9 and go up 2 sizes. 85-inch Bravia 9, right? Get the 85-inch Bravia 9. That will have more of an impact than a smaller size Bravia 9 Mark II, because they share so many of the color signs of the 9 Mark II. Why go smaller? I would go larger with the Bravia 9 for sure. All right, let's see what else we got here. Okay, here's a good demo. Let's try that. All right. 115-inch is only $31,000. That's the price you pay for size, my friend. That is the price you pay. Yep. That's what it is. Does the Bravia 9 Mark II suffer from color shift? If it does, there is a setting that I learned today that you can enable to eliminate the color shift, right? So let's talk about that. I'm going to pause. Actually, you know what? Wasn't that a great one for color shift? For the monkey? There we go. Okay. You see this monkey? This monkey may have color shift, right? Because you got green in the back, you got the monkey in the front. So I'm going to adjust the exposure a touch so you can see that depth of color that's on the monkey. All right. Now, how you fix the color shift is you go down to brightness and where'd it go? Backlight lighting mode. See, it says color. All right. If you don't want any risk, then you go to white. It doesn't seem to change much. I'm shifting back and forth. Yeah, not much of a change, especially not in this level of brightness. So by going to white, you've disabled the red, green, and blue separately. They're all white now. So it's just like the Bravia 9. So if you are afraid of color shift or you see it, going into this mode, backlighting mode, color to white, the white would resolve that. And the thing is, it's missing QDs. So you kind of lose the whole point of getting RGB. You go to white, but you don't have quantum dot backlight. So I leave it on color unless you see it as an issue, don't disable it. Unless you really know for a fact it's a problem, do not disable it, because then you're just taking away the whole point of buying this TV. Just get the Bravia 9, because the Bravia 9 is already white backlight. But, you know, good question. The dimmed corners of the Bravia 9 Mark I are a deal breaker. The Mark II doesn't appear to have it. You know what? Let's test that. Bring up a good point. Let's put on a gray screen here real quick. Gray. Ah, here we go. Maybe gray uniformity test? Would that be it? Let's see what we get here. Gray, there you go. That's a good gray uniformity test. Let's do that. I'm going to turn off the reference monitor. It's just going to be a distraction for you guys. Ooh. All right. So let's see if there's dark corners. You're going to see differences in uniformity. Okay, let's actually stop right there. Okay. Okay. So is there a vignetting? Oh, I think that's on my, I was going to say, I see a dirty spot on my lens. Let me clean that. So you don't blame the Bravia 9 for it. Where's my trusty cloth? Still there. I hope it's not on the lens. Oh my gosh, it's probably on the sensor. Yep, it's a sensor issue. So that little spot in the top left-hand corner is not on the TV, obviously. Yeah, I don't know. I think their uniformity all looks pretty good. Hopefully that answers your question. Let's move on. All right, we're back on. Okay, see what questions you got here. Dreeg says, Snap, Bravia 9 Mark II, lets you change the backlight? Yes, that's very cool. I'm guessing it's the only RGB TV to do that. Yeah, honestly, it's the only one I've heard. So that's awesome. That's awesome. Yes, agreed. The Bravia 8 Mark II, clean as a whistle. I know, right? Oh, let me turn down this a little bit. There we go. Whoa. Okay, that was a bit too bright. I'm going to go over here. I think, so you guys can see color saturation. Yeah, it's one of my favorites for color saturation. Whoa, look at that blue. And the Bravia 9 Mark II is a little bit brighter. That's why it looks slightly undersaturated. It's just, it matches the BVM 3110. So we're at 1000 nits. Everything looks good. Now go up to 2000 nits. Yep. Color still there, although the 8 Mark II appears to be preserving its saturation, but it's tone mapping a lot more aggressively. So let me show you. Because it cannot hold that level of brightness at all. You see? Right? So the Bravia 9 Mark II has similar color saturation as the 8 Mark II. The Bravia 9 is losing a bit of that saturation just under the umbrella. So these are the little things. That is why you're paying for the slight iterations on the 9 Mark II. Look at that. Saturation very similar to the 8 at this brightness, but the 8's a lot dimmer. It's about a stop dimmer. So these are little things that can improve. So when you ask, wait, what about QD OLED? What's going to improve? Well, wide, large screen, large window brightness, but OLED's flaw is not being able to get bright in the larger windows. That's just, you don't want it to last only 2 or 3 years, right? For longevity's sake, they cannot make the windows that bright because they want your TVs to last more than 5 years. So, you got to accept the flaws with all these technologies. You're going to choose your poison. But yeah, they all look really good. I mean, the only one that's hitting it is obviously the reference monitor. It's 4,000 nits. It's so bright. Wow, so good. Okay. See what you guys got. Out of focus. All right. It's in focus now. Okay. All right. Here's a good comment. I love this. Jamie says, if Sony had a 77-inch Bravia 8 Mark II or A95L, I'm telling you, identical. No one would buy the Bravia 9 Mark II. So if you need a 77-inch, get the A95L. Essentially, it's going to perform identically. The Bravia 9 Mark II at 75 inches, it's just a brighter TV. So if you're in light control, yeah, absolutely. Get the Bravia 8 Mark II or A95L. If you want that extra pop in vivid mode, then the 9 Mark II does it. But it is that one trick that makes the 9 a worthy, or 9 Mark II, a worthy upgrade over the 9. But essentially, most people would be happy to have the 8 Mark II or the A95L at 77 inches. No doubt about that. So here's a good question. FOMO, is the Bravia 8 Mark II at 2600 for 65 inch a good price? 77 inch gets you, okay, so $1,800 gets you a 77 inch S90F right now at Costco, for sure. Direct from Samsung, maybe it's closer to 2,000. If you're a Samsung member, then you'll get it for 1,800, 1,900, and that's 77 inches. I have a hard time recommending the Bravia 8 Mark II at 65 for 2,600. When the S90F, once calibrated, would be identical to the Sony. Biggest difference is the Sony has access to Dolby Vision, whereas the Samsung obviously does not. But then the Samsung has access to more gaming features or better gaming features than the 8 Mark II at 65. The other one's 77, you get more immersion. I would choose, for around 2,000, I would get the 77-inch S90F. And that's it, right? I'd be done. I wouldn't even look at the S90H this year. I wouldn't look at the S95H. I get the S90F, 77-inch, save the money, and get myself a sound bar to throw in there. But, oop, what happened there? Oh, no. Everything disappeared. There we go. Okay, here's a good question. What hi-fi, thank you Radha for this comment, what hi-fi reviewed the Bravia 9 and said its picture isn't as consistent as crisp or 3D pop as QD OLED, so Bravia 8 Mark II, and it's fussier to set up. So that would be correct in certain scenes, specular highlights, that would be correct. But in something like this, they're all identical. I'll change the exposure as you can see, but they all look very similar to me. So it definitely depends on the scene. And fussier to set up, out of the box. You guys saw I reset everything, so there was no setting up here. All are in professional mode right now. Does the Bravia 9 Mark II now improve on these areas? The 9 Mark II is a slightly more polished version than the 9, but more importantly, off angle, it's closer to OLED. And then you have the vivid mode that kind of elevates bright scene impact. But as always, QD OLED with its perfect contrast, it will be consistent across all scenes. But it's limited to 65 inches or 77 if you're going to the A95L. But at 85, that's all you got. There is no QD OLED at 85. So you're capped, hard cap at 77 inches. If you need to go 85 or 97 inch or 98 inch with the Bravia 7 Mark II, you got to go into the land of mini LED TVs like the X11L, the Bravia 9 Mark II, or the Bravia 7 Mark II. But yeah, but I think maybe it's overstated how much crisper it is. It's definitely content specific. Okay, let's see here. This is a great question, Jamie. Would you still recommend a 3-year-old TV like the A95L for $3,500? So let's put the price aside. The A95L at 77 inches, amazing. It performs as it should. But at $3,500, would I recommend it? That's a hard sell. I already said the S90F, once it's calibrated, or forget the S90F, S95F, S95H. Once calibrated, it'll look very similar to the A95L. And so with the savings, get the Samsung and then calibrate it, and you're exactly where the Sony is. Now, the G6, on the other hand, super bright, quite a bit brighter than the A95L. It's not too old. Rather, it's the pricing that I think you're really overpaying. Out of the box, it looks great, but if you're going to plan to calibrate it anyway, then get the cheaper Samsung, get it calibrated. Reach out to Robert, he'll get it calibrated, sent to you, and you have a better gaming TV as well. So it really depends on your use case, but Sony is consistent with its color science. They're not wrong there. I mean, look at this. I'm turning up the exposure and the TVs. I'm just going to pause right here because this is a great place to study contrast and blooming. Okay, so I'm hyper-exposing the scene. Can you tell the difference between OLED and non-OLED? That's how far we've come. This is a very difficult scene. It's a bright white scene. This is where your blooming and your contrast issues and your shadow detail loses to OLED. And yet, look how close they are. And how bright are we at? Let's see, the peak specular highlights here are just under 1,000 nits. So we're at the limits of what OLED can do in terms of brightness, right? Wow, this is so good. So yeah, I think on angle, you're there. Very, very well done by both mini LED TVs. And the Bravia 9, look how well it's holding up. So good. FOMO, the Bravia 9 Bravia 9 Mark II looks great, but can you please compare it with the QM8L? As I'm not sure the Sony is worth double the price. Yes, I will. Yes, I will. That's coming up, not today, because there's only so much space I have here, but yes, that is coming up. Super Googly. Hello, and thank you for the super chat. I have my 55-inch S95F modified to 4,000 nits. So if you don't know, if you go into the service menu, you can play with it and max out its brightness. And a G5 83-inch, both calibrated with a K10A and a Meridio. Great. I like my G5 for mixed use, but when it comes to gaming, the G5 isn't even close. Many of us gaming enthusiasts prefer the Samsung for that reason. So, I know you got LG fanboys there as well, but I think the last 2 years, Samsung has pulled ahead of LG for PC gaming, at least. Console gaming, they all look great, right? Just there's a setting for you. But PC gaming is it's a whole different breed. Oh, this is one where the Bravia 8 Mark II does pop a little bit more in the specular highlights, and I'll show you that. So you can see how much more. It's just a tiny extra 20, 50 nits. It pops a little bit more, just a little bit. But that's why people get OLED, QD OLED, right? Or OLED, is to get that extra pop. But again, not every scene, just some select scenes. He is not answering to me. I am. I just don't know what your questions are. Did you put up a super chat? Because I'm going through as many of these as I can. So if I missed your super chat, I apologize. But if it's just questions, man, you guys are moving questions way too quickly. I'm not as good as I should be. So keep on asking. Vibe have Mishra. Ask, and eventually I will find you. So ask again. Whatever I missed, ask again. Okay. Cyrus Jalali. Thank you for that super chat. Does it bother you that many brands like LG have removed ATSC 3 and DTS support? My LG G3 used to have DTS, but it was removed from the recent update. Okay, so a couple of things happening here. Let's talk about DTS first. Removal, DTS, licensing. When it comes to these things, this is why I prefer HDR10 over Dolby Vision. Dolby Vision can come and go. Who knows, right? It's a licensing thing. It's a royalty thing. I don't know what's happening. You're one lawsuit away from losing access to many of these codecs. And the TV makers are one lawsuit away from losing a lot of money. And so DTS is one of those things where, okay, so let's just talk about, does it bring anything to the table? I don't think so, not on the TV side at least. If you have a dedicated home theater system, absolutely. Just run your source directly to your home theater system and you're good to go. If you're asking for DTS from your TV to your home theater system, you have a different problem. It's lossy. TVs can only receive lossy codec. So if you are that into the audio, why are you getting it through your TV? Get DTS through a disc player, separately through your AVR, so you can have the purity of that DTS. So I think it's a moot point, and I think that's what LG is going for. Like, what's the point of this, right? Because the reality is immersion is immersion, and if you have a external processor, you can make it sound identical between Atmos and DTS and anything else. Your processor will make it sound indistinguishable. So I'm okay with the whole DTS issue. Now, removing a feature, I'm not okay with. I think that once you buy a TV, you bought it for what it is, and then 5 years later, those codecs are missing. I don't think that should happen. Now, the other question, the ATSC 3.0, this is another lawsuit nightmare. So apparently there's a bunch of patent holders on the ATSC 3.0 stack that are not being paid. They're suing people left and right, and the TV makers are like, look, we're done. We don't want to deal with these patent trolls, these patent holders. We don't need it. And that has made adoption of ATSC 3.0 stupidly hard because of these lawsuits. So that's one. Number two, even if the TV has it, none of the radio stations, none of the TV broadcasters are using it. And when they do use it, it's not even to the capability of ATSC 3.0 because it's so expensive. They have to upgrade their broadcast equipment. They have to upgrade everything, and they're not making enough money to do so. So for me, the ATSC 3.0 thing, it was a great concept, but execution impossibly expensive for the broadcasters to even consider. Maybe for special events, but I think the biggest improvement would have been 1080p 60, right? Doubling the frame rate would have been amazing for sports. For me, that would have been the big one, but other than that, it doesn't matter to me. ATSC 3.0, I don't think it's a big deal. Okay. Are the regular Bravia 7 and Bravia 9 being retired? Yes, they are. So go grab them on Prime Day, on Black Friday. They're going to drop huge in price. And that way you can get yourself a really good deal. FOMO, Bravia 8 Mark II, Bravia 9, 65-inch. Which would you buy value for the money? I get the Bravia 8 Mark II. I think overall it has everything that you would appreciate more often than not. The Bravia 9 Mark II brings a few things to the table, better anti-glare. So if you're in a brighter room, 9 Mark II is the way to go. The glare on the 8 Mark II is very annoying in a brighter room. I would not go for it in that case. So it depends on what your viewing conditions are. But in a dark room, the 8 Mark II kills it. In a bright room, ambient lighting, no bueno. So it just depends on your viewing condition. The 9 Mark II has floored me, honestly. You know what? Let's floor you guys. Let's put everything in vivid mode real quick, because that is the special power. Actually, you know what? Let's go into IMAX Enhanced. Why not? Right? I haven't had a chance to test that. So let's see how it looks. I know Sean loves IMAX Enhanced, so let's do that. Sean, my friend, this is for you. We're going to be in IMAX Enhanced. And maybe this will do something. Okay. And let's put on some content that takes advantage of IMAX Enhanced. Here we go. Boom. 2000 nits should take advantage of IMAX Enhanced. Oh, yes. Okay. Wow. I say wow because it feels like the Bravia 8 Mark II is not falling behind at all in IMAX Enhanced. So we are in IMAX Enhanced mode, in case you're wondering. Very nice. All right. I assume, thank you, Paul, for this comment. I assume the Bravia 9 Mark II will do well at the Value Electronics Shootout. Yes, I think so too. But that's why we have the Shootout, right? All in theory, it should do well, but will it do well? And here we go, some super chats. Harley Mizzy, thank you for the super chat. When is the TV Shootout happening again? July 18th. That's in about 2.5 months. Yeah, 2.5 months. July 18th on a Saturday. I will be there. We will do both. We will cover both the OLED and RGB mini LED TVs. So Sony Bravia 9 Mark II will be there, as well as the Samsung Micro RGB, as well as the TCL SQD, just to see, can SQD keep up with RGB? And I think it will. The question is, which will be the best? And what's the lineup so far? Okay, so among the OLED TVs, the Bravia 8 Mark II will be there to defend its crown. It was the king of TVs last year. It's going to go against the LG G6 and the Samsung S95H. In the other camp, in the other ring, will be RGB TVs. The Samsung Micro RGB R95H, the TCL SQD X11L, and this Sony Bravia 9 Mark II True RGB TV. We're going to see if LG releases their TV in time, but it feels like they won't. So it really comes down to those two as the competitors at the Shootout. Oh, this Jennifer Gala, thank you so much. This is the kind of scene that I love. This looks so good, all of them. I'm looking at it and it just indistinguishable. There we go. And Sean, you're still around. I know it is like, what, 3 a.m. over there in India? Thank you. FOMO, IMAX Enhanced mode of Sony in the Bravia 9 and Bravia 9 Mark II and Bravia 8 Mark II. You should compare someday. We're comparing it right now. All are in IMAX Enhanced. Movies in HDR. Let's do that. Let's go into a Netflix movie real quick. We are in IMAX Enhanced mode. And let's see what Netflix brings to the table. I'm going to find a nice action-packed Netflix movie. Apex is a bit moody, right? So let's look for an action-packed movie here. Let's see what we got. Oh, how about Karate Kid? Isn't that kind of colorful and flashy? I'll go to one of the scenes where there's some good action happening, probably at the end, where he's fighting, and it's got those pop, the title pops. Hey, come on. So while we're fast forwarding through Karate Kid, we are in IMAX Enhanced. This is for you, Sean. Since you've hung out with us for so long and your dedicated super chats, you deserve this. Actually, let's just look at this scene. So only because I see a lot of red in here. So the reference monitor serves as a reference. The question is, what does IMAX Enhanced bring to the table in terms of color shifting, brightness, all of that? Wow, they look very similar to the reference monitor, shockingly enough. All right. So as we're fast forwarding through this, Let's see. You know, or maybe, well, I don't have the kaleidoscope connected. I disconnected it. I was going to put in Speed Racer because that's a nice, colorful, poppy movie. But I think the end fight scenes here will do the trick. In the meantime, if you guys have any questions or any requests like Sean, let me know. But we are in IMAX Enhanced. Yes, Sabman, I was told by Sony that the Bravia 9 specifically was designed to reflect exactly the reference monitor. Oh, here we go. Final fight. All right. Okay, so this is IMAX Enhanced. I'm just going to make sure I adjust so you guys can see. There we go. Okay. I just want to make sure all the color is there. And we're going to be, there we go. Right? Oh. I want to find a good scene for you guys. Okay, so it's kind of dark here. This scene is kind of moody. Not what I had hoped. Let me see if I can get something that pops a bit more. Okay, I see a little specular highlight on the bottom there. Let's turn it up. So, this is in IMAX Enhanced. Now, what it's kind of, okay, so let's talk about the HDR grade. Very flat. This is, to me, it looks like SDR, right? And so, you know, it's kind of action. Let's see if Vivid Mode makes a difference. Okay, so that specular highlight on the bottom, definitely it's popping. Let me turn down the brightness a touch so I can match their brightnesses. Because, yeah, this is a bit, I want to match. Oh, my gosh, I'm down to 5 minimum. Okay, so we're in Vivid Mode. And yep. So the Bravia 9 Mark II Special Power is definitely Vivid Mode. That little light on the bottom left-hand corner looks very similar to how QD OLED is doing it, right? It gives you that extra pop. So let's finish. Let's get to the next scene. Let's see if we can get something happening. Ooh. Oh. And the color in Vivid Mode. Look at the white point in the sky. It's just a slightly brighter version. It's not off. I'm really enjoying this Vivid Mode. Look at the fluorescent light. I'm going to turn down the exposure a touch. Look at how bright that fluorescent light on the left shines, right? So Sony is doing such a good job just elevating the highlights in Vivid Mode. And this is what I expect Dolby Vision 2 Max to do, by the way. Look at the red. Oh, this red is just crazy. The saturation is off the charts. So it's trying to preserve the colors without giving it too much green or too much whatever, and just making it hyper saturated. And it just nails it in Vivid Mode. Now, to be fair, let's say, you know what, Bravia 9, let's give it some vivid love, right? Okay, and let's turn the brightness back up again so it can match. I think it'll be near a match. Let's see. Okay, I think they're brightness matched right there. And the QD OLED is trying to get brighter, but look at that saturation. So we're in vivid mode, didn't play with the settings. This is how it is out of the box. And that Bravia 9, this is a movie I'm thoroughly enjoying in vivid mode. Right? Skin tones, a little bit hypersaturated, no doubt. But look at that sky. So, all right. I think that's a little taste. I don't want to do too much, Karate Kid. Oh, but look at the brightness on the bottom before I go. I just noticed that on the TVs. Man, that extra pop in vivid mode looks really good. It's great for bright rooms. So in a bright room, why does this make sense? In a bright room, ambient light, brightness, everything is desaturated in a bright room. This is why you have vivid mode. For those bright room watching where everything looks less saturated than it should be, in a dark room, you don't need vivid mode per se, because now it'll be oversaturated. But in a bright room, you're not going to notice that oversaturation without a reference monitor next to it. So, all right, let's take that down. So that was Karate Kid. Okay. And let's see what else you guys got. We're going to wrap up shortly. FOMO, S95F or the Bravia 9 Mark II. Again, darkroom. Okay, so S95F, its special power is actually the matte screen. Bravia 9 Mark II similarly has great anti-glare. Both of them are great for bright room. The 115-inch does not have it though, just in case you're wondering. For gaming, S95F, just nothing compares to QD OLED for gaming, right? But if you don't take gaming and you're just, casual console gamer, Switch, whatever, for critical movie watching, S95F. It's just QD OLED. QD OLED is a critical movie watching TV. In a brighter room, it becomes more difficult to call. But at 85 inches, the Bravia 9 Mark II. Because at 85 inches, you're losing the special power of QD OLED. The S95F at 85 inches or 83 is actually a tandem W OLED. And at that point, it's not QD OLED luminance anymore. You're going to lose some color saturation. So I would take 85 inches, 115, the Bravia 9 Mark II, because it's just at that size, it's a slightly different comparison. But the S95F is a phenomenal TV. It's just at 83, 85, it's a question of whether OLED or non-OLED. And I just like, in a bright room, the Bravia 9 Mark II is designed to look like it pops. It does pop better in a bright room. In a darker room, full light control, I'd still take the S95F, even at 83 inches. But it ends up being OLED versus the best mini LED TV money can buy. And yeah, just a little bit of love for the LG G6. Yes, G6 fixed 95% of those issues. Dolby Vision's fixed, everything is fixed, posterization's fixed. They really did a great job addressing everything in 3 firmware updates. So at 0.69, it's pretty much all resolved. Now, the gaming, I'm not going to address because I think gamers have their own issues with this TV. But for just content watching, it's solid. Don't tell me the Bravia 9 Mark II is bad in game mode. You know what? You guys want to see a little PS5 gaming? I have a few minutes, right? Let's hear the votes. I'll do a little Black Myth Wukong for you guys if you want. So the first one say yes, I'll do it. So We'll do a quick one. Otherwise, we can just wrap it up right here. Larger color gamut than QD OLED. The reason why I brought this up, Mad Pistol, is I think the whole color gamut measurement, it's misleading in the sense that real content doesn't need a large color gamut, right? It's kind of like getting a Honda Civic, but putting on Pirelli P0s on your Honda Civic. The P0s are capable of so much more, but you're in a Honda Civic. And so no differently, a TV with amazing color gamut, yes, but you're watching content that's Rec 709, DCI P3, all the TVs do that well. Why do you need a wider color gamut? Even in Jennifer Gallow's content, which we're seeing all day today, the Bravia 8 Mark II, the Bravia 9 Mark II, and the Bravia 9, indistinguishable from the reference monitor, and the Bravia 8 Mark II arguably has the widest color gamut, didn't make a difference. I did not see more color. And Jennifer specifically had the most recent RGB TV test to expand on that color gamut. And even then, indistinguishable, right? So I think it's overstated, this whole color gamut, until someone shows me a movie that actually takes advantage of the wider color gamut. I think it's very misleading, and it's a red herring to get you to buy a TV for specs. Again, get this Honda Civic with P0 tires for an extra $1,000, but you're driving around the block, right? Like, the P0s do nothing for you. And so with that in mind, I'm going to put out specifically the HDR comparison content that Jennifer did, the ultimate true RGB stress test, and then I'll put it back in Filmmaker for you guys so that it's most accurate to the color gamut, right? But I'm telling you, I'm just not seeing it. So let's go back to professional mode. There we go. Okay, all in professional mode, they should have the most accurate gamut, and then I'll pause where arguably I might see a color I'm not seeing on either the reference monitor or the QD OLED. But come on, guys, the 9 and the 9 Mark II, indistinguishable. Let's look at some. Actually, let's start the earlier parts of this scene. There we go. Yeah, Jennifer Gala, if you are still here, let us know. Is this scene extending deep into BT 2020 territory? Because we're not seeing that. There we go. Okay, 2000 nits, right? All right, let's look at this critically, my friends. Let's do it together. This weird purple is deep in the color gamut, right? And I know it's YouTube compression. I know YouTube doesn't do BT 2020 info. I'm sure I'm losing some color. But I'm looking here. They all look nearly identical to the reference monitor and to the QD OLED. And if you have to pause and squint for 2 minutes, that means it's not worth it. Because I'm not seeing it. I'm looking at all the subtleties, and the purple, it passes the test as far as I'm concerned. Let's go to another nice. Here we go. This is a good one. Oh, I mean, this is great color spectrum, Jennifer, but I couldn't tell the difference between a 9 Mark II and a 9. And the Bravia 8 Mark II, right? So let's increase exposure a bit more, give you guys some more context. I mean, look at that. Indistinguishable from the reference monitor. Oh, no, one exception. Look at the black levels on the Bravia 9 Mark II. Right? The Bravia 9 Mark II, near OLED-like. Blooming control, that's it. That's why you buy the Bravia 9 Mark II. Slightly better blooming. right? I'll increase it even further. Look at that. Slightly better, no doubt. Of course, perfection is the Bravia 8 Mark II and the BVM. And this is hyper-exposing it. You guys are not going to see this in real content. Or rather, in real exposure, right? This is what real exposure looks like. Look how deep it looks, right? This is overexposed, and you don't notice it. I have to hyper-expose it. Taking it down, and it's super bright. Oh, it's so good. Thank you for this content, Jennifer. That was amazing. All right, let's go to the next scene that's arguably special colors that you never see. I'm looking for something. Here we go. I think we're done with the purples. I'm gonna look for maybe a green. Ah. All right. Yeah, it looks good to me. I don't see a difference with my eye. My camera doesn't see a difference. Compression doesn't see a difference. YouTube, you're all about compression, I know. And so this is a good comment. Michael Beckerman says, the great thing about the new Bravia 9 Mark II is you now get QD OLED level performance with zero risk of burn-in. Yes, so let's rest right there. Robert Conrad, if you're still here, you can share your burn-in experience. He had the G5 for a year. It got burn-in. He got the G6 for 6 months. It got burn-in. Now, context. He watches in Vivid Mode all the time. He loves the Weather Channel. But that combination, toxicity resulting in burn-in. Robert should get the Bravia 9 Mark II because look at the image quality right here. And if you want Vivid Mode, how much brighter does Vivid Mode get if you're watching the Weather Channel, Robert? Oh, look at that. Boom. Oh, now I'm seeing colors I've never seen before, right? In Vivid Mode. Oh, I'm going to love it. Okay, so now this is Vivid Mode. So when Robert's watching the Weather Channel, he can enjoy this to his heart's content, never suffer burn-in. Yes, so, you know, it's also a little bit of quality of life for you guys. Is the back of the Bravia 9 Mark II flat? Well, let me go check for you. It's, you know what? Let me take a picture and I'll share it. Okay, so let's see. Gotta love technology. Let's see how quickly I can share this image with you guys. And we're up. Let's do it. Let's share this image. Okay, so as you can see, the back of the Bravia 9, there's a slight curve on the very far edges, right? So left and right, looking down, there's that little curve, but the rest is flat. So maybe 3 inches in, there is a slight slant, and then it's flat. So there you go. See? Don't say I don't love you. Is it true, Mad Pistol asks, that LG is pushing their OLEDs hard to keep up with RGB LED and QD OLED and Mini LED? It's not surprising that we're getting burn-in on them. Yes, they are pushing it way hard, and they didn't mean Vivid Mode to be 24/7 preset, But when you watch Vivid Mode 24/7, you're at risk. That's not what it's designed to do. Not at all. Oh, and before you guys say, oh my gosh, the Bravia 9 II is so awesome, it's because it's in Vivid Mode. Let's put it back in professional mode. All right, now it's a match. And look at the Bravia 8 Mark II. It just barely dimmed, right? If at all. I think I held that static for a while now. And yeah, good job, Bravia 8 Mark II. No aggressive dimming for bright scenes and static. But you're right, Mad Pistol. Guys, don't get an OLED. I don't care what the OLED is, S95 or the G6 or the G5. Don't get it to watch Vivid Mode. It's not designed for that. If you need Vivid Mode, get the Bravia 9 Mark II, get the Bravia 9, get the X11L, get the QM8L. They're designed for 24/7 Vivid Mode. So that is an excellent point. Oh, Robert Conrad is still here. He can tell you what happened. Thank you for the super chat, Robert. Let's hit it. Got burn-in this time without exclusive Vivid content. Oh, that's news. Within 3 weeks, the letters QNED 8K burned in the upper right corner from the LG demo. You know what, Robert? Let's look for that LG demo. That's just terrible. Oh. Okay, so let's see if I can find the LG demo. Let's just call it LG demo. That's good, Robert. I love it. Oops. There you go. Let's try this again. LG. Let's see. Demo? With the word demo? Would I find it under demo? There we go. There's actually an LG demo that people have been searching for. And let's see if that's the right one. The 2020 LG OLED. So, Robert, tell me, which one is it? All right, I got a few of them to choose from here. Is it this one? Is it this one? The 2021 LG QNED 8K. That's the one, huh? Because you got 8K burned in. Let's do that one. I think that's the one. All right. Oh, there it is. Wait, I gotta pause this. Okay, so the question is, am I going to get burned in on the Bravia 8 Mark II? Please no, because then I'm going to have to call Sony and say, Sony, I got burned in. I want my refund. Okay, so here it is. Robert, is this the scene? LG QNED 8K, right? And let's put it in Vivid Mode. You know what? Oh, wait, did Robert do it in Vivid Mode? I got burned in this time without Vivid content. QNED 8K burned in, just like that. In the upper right-hand corner, LG demo, normal watching. And when I saw the Bravia 9 Mark II in person, I thought Vivid was insane. Okay, so let's put everything in Vivid then. Yes, I agree, Robert. Vivid Mode is the special power of the Bravia 9 Mark II. So 8 Mark II is in Vivid now. 9 is now in Vivid. And 9 Mark II is in Vivid. All right. Oh, you're right. It is insane. Look at the blooming on the 9. I'm going to have to show you this. I see. Okay, so thank you, Robert, for that super chat. Okay, look at this, guys. Come on. Look how good. First of all, look at the color. This is RGB. RGB, true RGB. The blooming is the same color as the yellow, so it doesn't look like it's blooming. This is why you get the RGB, and I think this is where I could play with that white backlight, right? This is perfect for that. So let's do the white backlight thing for you guys. Where'd it go? Oh, I don't have the option to turn off the white backlight. Oh, so I guess in Vivid, it's always on. So never mind. You can't turn it off in Vivid Mode. So this is the difference. I think we need to pause here to enjoy this RGB. And you can see the depth, right? So first of all, perfect black levels, the reference monitor, and the Bravia 8 Mark II. Next up is the Bravia 9. Not perfect, but by making the yellow the same color as the blooming, it's not as noticeable because this is what you're going to see in real life. Right? That is a realistic glow, right? The Bravia 9 It's white, just like the LG QNED 8K. So this is the RGB we're talking about. So yes, amazing. Thank you, Robert. This is gonna be a great demo, by the way. So let's play this through. I'll turn down the exposure. There we go. And the reference monitor is dimmer because it's not in vivid mode. Okay. So I'll turn off the reference so it's not as much of a distraction for you guys. Oh, yes. Look at that. This is vivid mode at its best. Oops. Yeah, the 8 Mark II cannot keep up in vivid mode, obviously. But look at the color. Very similar, right? I'm trying to separate the Bravia 9 from the Bravia 9 Mark II. Because vivid mode is not why you get an OLED TV. It is why you get the Bravia 9 Mark II. Oh, interesting. The LG QNED is not as bright as the Bravia 9 in that one. What is up with that? So here, I gotta double check. Why is it not as bright? Oh, it's at 15. My bad. Okay, let's max out that brightness. I'm like, wait, is my vivid mode broken? Max brightness. Okay, everything is at max brightness now. Make sure vivid. Yep, max brightness as well there. Okay, now we are talking. Oh, yes. This is why you get the Bravia 9 Mark II. It's for that just shocking level of brightness. Not brightness, but color brightness. Come on, Robert. You know you want the Bravia 9 Mark II. So if you're watching Beautiful Goldfish, this is the TV to get. Oh, and if I haven't mentioned already, you can get a beautiful walnut frame, just like the frame on the Samsung The Frame. You can have it on the Bravia 9 Mark II. It is 100% walnut veneer. It is absolutely amazing, and it looks like a piece of art. I love it. Not cheap. That frame is like several $100s, but they're like, hey, Samsung, you think you got the frame? You can add the frame to our TV, and it looks like a picture frame. It looks amazing. Wow. If I had a place to hang it, I would definitely add the walnut frame. No doubt about it. Robert, I do want it. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You know what? Okay, guys, this is such a great comment. Trade in your BVM for the 115-inch Bravia 9 Mark II. And honestly, if I was to resell it right now, Hollywood would pay just under $30,000 for it, because I think brand new is like 33, 34,000. Used, it's still almost 30,000. So yes, I probably could trade it in for 115, but why? Because TVs will only get better in 3 years, right? Right? So yeah, that's why. Oh, let's do the LG OLED black while we're at it, since I'm on the LG channel right now anyway. In vivid mode. Whoops. Go. That's a good one. I didn't even think about that. Now that I'm thinking about that, yeah, but where am I going to put it? I can't even compare TVs at 115 inches. Is the 115 the new 75 inch? Okay. Yep, Bravia 9 runs away at max brightness. You know what? I guess. Oh, super chat. Sorry I missed this. Sean, I know you're hanging around. Thank you. Let me see. Oh, okay, we got a couple. So I'll get to you. Let me get to Dreek first. Do you think someone that is disappointed with a Bravia 9 Mark II not having Dolby Vision 2 Max should still get it, or just wait for the Sony to release Dolby Vision 2 Max compatible TV? I have a lot of issues with Dolby Vision in general, and I'll tell you why. Dolby Vision is inconsistently applied across all TVs. It feels like every TV with Dolby Vision needs to be calibrated for its Dolby Vision to be accurate. With that in mind, what does it matter if you have Dolby Vision or not. It's going to be wrong, whether it's too bright, too dark, shadow details off, whatever, right? Okay, so that's one. Now, Dolby Vision 2 Max, what does that bring to the table? For me, I know it has a few other features, but those other features to me are not important. What's important to me with Dolby Vision 2 Max is elevating dim content while preserving some of the creator's intent, skin tones, shadow details. And it feels like the Bravia 9 Mark II is their version of Dolby Vision 2 Max in Vivid Mode. Now, if you are a Dolby Vision fan, you have to wait. There's no way around it, right? But whether Sony will add it in the next 2 years, I honestly don't know. That's not something that I can guess, that there's a Bravia 9 Mark III that will add it. Maybe Sony will add it and not be Dolby Vision 2 Max. Maybe they'll just make it as part of another preset toggle that they could enable. We just don't know what's going to happen in the future. So I understand Dolby Vision 2 fans love the Max potential, but you know what? I don't know. And we're still in Vivid Mode. In case you're wondering, why is the Bravia 8 Mark II so dim? Okay, let me take it off Vivid. Let's put it in standard, right? So that it kind of matches the Bravia 8 Mark II in Vivid. So we're going to go to standard. Yeah, there we go. So the TVs are more similar now. So we're in standard. The Mark II is in Vivid. And there we go. Okay. So the two Mini LED TVs, the Bravia 9 and 9 Mark II, are in standard, and the Bravia 8 Mark II is in Vivid, just so you guys can see color differences if there is any. And Sean, your super chat, thank you, my friend, for hanging out. Good night, FOMO, Brian, everyone. Thanks for the great show. You're welcome. Final question. Did RGB from Sony live up to your expectations, or did you expect a bigger difference when compared to the Bravia 9? Also, when will be the next TV comparison? So we'll start with the last one. The next TV comparison will be the S95H, I believe, is en route. The G6 is en route. So I'm thinking Bravia 8 Mark II versus G6 versus S95, right? So it will be the battle of the latest and greatest tandem versus QD OLED, King of TVs, and versus Samsung's S95H. So I think that's the next one. And then right after that will be the Bravia 9 Mark II 75-inch versus the QM8L 75-inch. And if I can get TCL to get me the 75-inch X11L, it could be a three-way battle there. And now the rest of your question, big difference compared to the Bravia 9. So right here would be the biggest difference. Would be standard, Vivid. It's brighter than the Bravia 9, and they specifically tuned it for HDR impact. To me, that is their version of Dolby Vision 2 Max. However, is it as big of a jump as I had hoped? I'm a TV enthusiast. I wanted more. It is an improvement, and what I think for me would make the biggest difference is adding the Sub9, but then the Bravia 9 gets it too, as well as the Bravia 8 Mark II. So they get the two things that I really wanted: independent subwoofers plus rares, all wireless. So I don't have to get a sound bar. But if I do get a sound bar or the Trio, I can now add two subwoofers. But again, the 9 and the 8 Mark II has it. So I'm not getting anything more than I wouldn't have. So here's my conclusion. I think this is a great wrap up for you guys who just joined us. And I'm going to put it in Vivid Mode because this is how the Bravia 9 Mark II separates itself. So first, in filmmaker mode or professional mode for Sony's, they all look the same. Like, perfect, right? They look great. And to emphasize that point, we are going to put it in a random Netflix scene so you can see, let's see, How to Drain a Dragon. Let's just find some random scene here. And we'll put it in filmmaker mode so you guys can see. Oh, here's a good one. Let's go to a daylight scene. This is just too weird. Oh, actually, let's do this. All right, what a great scene. Okay, here's How to Train Your Dragon action scene, right? Let's start with filmmaker mode, and I'm going to turn on the BVM reference monitor so you guys know what the actual brightness should be. Let's go down to professional mode. This is its most accurate mode for all TVs, so you guys can see how indistinguishable they mostly are. Whoop, wrong one. Here we go. Boom. Okay. And let me look at the nits. Peak nits in this scene, 100 nits. So this is a dim movie. It looks dark, but it really isn't. It's 100 nits in the brightest part of the scene. Okay. Okay, so, right, they all look very similar, right? Look at the specular highlights, very similar, right? The details are there. Okay, let's go super bright real quick. Shadow detail, all there, right? Okay. Whether it's QD OLED, whether it's the Bravia 9 Mark II or the Bravia 9, filmmaker mode or professional mode, identical. Like, this is as good as it gets, right? And so that's what I'm saying. If you're just watching Netflix, get the Bravia 9. Now, what is the special power that we talk about though? Is if this scene, you're like, you know what, 100 nits, not enough. I want some pop. So you buy the Bravia 9 Mark II for its vivid mode. Ooh, look at that. And let's put them all in vivid mode so you can see how they tune it differently, right? They're all in vivid. All right. That's the difference. The Bravia 9 Mark II just rises above the rest in vivid mode. It's just, it takes a 100 nit movie and makes it significantly more impactful. Like, is this scene more impactful as a result of that? Absolutely. And does it badly affect skin tones? Well, let's see. It's so bright, it's so hard to gauge. I'm going to turn down the brightness a touch on the Bravia 9 Mark II so you could actually see what its colors look like. And right there, there we go, wait. Okay. So, the Bravia 8 Mark II has a little bit more color saturation in vivid mode, but again, you're doing this for impact, right? You have to choose why you have certain presets. Look at the specular highlights, right? You see the little bits of flying ashes. And on the 9 Mark II, these kind of action scenes is what they're designed for. Let's go daytime, how that looks. Here, great one, right here. Okay. So daytime scene. The 9 Mark II in vivid mode, right? The greens are a bit more vibrant. So in a bright room, perfect. I would watch in vivid mode these sort of movies in a bright room. But if you're just looking at filmmaker mode, this scene is just indistinguishable in filmmaker mode from the rest of the TVs. And so I would not get it just to watch regular streaming. If all you want is a TV that doesn't burn in, get the Bravia 9. Professional mode looks just like the reference monitor. right there. I mean, more accurate than the Bravia 9. So you're getting a little more color accuracy in this scene. The 9 Mark II and the 8 Mark II matches the reference a little bit better than the 9. It's out of the box. None of them are calibrated. So maybe you can get the 9 closer. But the greens on the 9 Mark II and the 8 Mark II is more saturated as the reference monitor is. Not a bright scene, so you're getting some minor improvements out of the box. But the reality is you're getting these iterative improvements in professional mode, but vivid mode is where you really want to do it. So, and Lord Oberman wants to let us know, I was born in vivid mode. This is the TV for you, my friend. Vivid filmmaker mode is no fun. Yeah, that's exactly Brian's attitude. He hates filmmaker mode. He would rather be in cinema mode. What is the peak brightness on the Bravia 9 Mark II? So if you go into measurements, it's over 4,000 nits, matching exactly the reference monitor. But otherwise, in real content, it definitely matches what alpha tells you want to do. So definitely around 4,000 nits in real content. In a pattern, it might even be higher. But in real content, I have nothing higher than 4,000 nits. I'm seeing 4,000 nits as a match for the BVM. Okay. Oh, what a great question. FOMO, does the Bravia 9 Mark II have a stand or is it the same as Bravia 9? The stand is phenomenal. Getty, go back when I started this, right? Oh, actually, I'll show you right now. The stand is so good. I can show it to you. 1 second. This is what the stand looks like. Oh, my goodness, it's so good. Okay, let me show you the stand real quick here. Okay, here we go. We're going to get to the stand right now. Look at this stand. This is a Master Series. Boom. Chrome polished stand, right? Right there. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Oh. Yes, fingerprints. Chrome polished stand. 100% steel, metal, stainless, whatever, right? Now, in addition to that, you're also going to get what covers, so you have this plastic shielding in front of the stand so you don't see the cables, right? And it'll be right here. Is this it? Oh, there it is. Okay. Now, once you have the stand set up, right, which I'm doing right now, you have this plastic screen that sits between the two chrome stand pieces. This plastic completely makes your cables disappear. Look. The cable goes behind it, cannot see it. Literally, this is that upmanship that Sony wants you guys to see. So, yes, Getty, it is an awesome looking stand. Brandon, thank you for the super chat. G6 Black Friday, 77-inch. How much do you think? 77-inch, Black Friday, whatever the G5 was last year, the G6 is this year. So just do that, right? Extrapolate G5, G6, Black Friday prices within $100 of that. You might get lucky, it might be a little bit cheaper, but it'll be around that amount. Why is the Bravia 9 Mark II missing sizes between 85-inch and 115-inch? I'll tell you why. At 98 inches, the Bravia 7 Mark II is already close to $10,000. And I think Bravia 9 is thinking, look, that is a dead man, no man's land budget. If you're going to spend that much, get the Bravia 7 Mark II. No one's going to pay over 10 grand for any 98-inch TV when the X11L is under 10 grand and the Bravia 7 Mark II is under 10. So if you really want to get the jump, I think they're going, look, if you have money, go for 30 grand and get the 115. That's what I'm thinking their logic is, but, you know, we could only speculate. Okay, we'll take a few more last questions, and then I think we're done. And let me take this out before the How to Train Your Dragon team goes after me. Okay. Oh, wait, here's another dim movie. This one, Jurassic World. That also needs help. I'd watch that in vivid mode as well. Okay. Okay, let's see what else we got. I'll take 2 or 3 more questions and then we'll wrap it up for today. Thank you guys for joining me. We started at just before 9. It is now just before 1 o'clock. You guys ran for 4 hours. Thank you for keeping up with me for 4 hours. You guys are so great. No, thank you, Getty. And here's some gamut questions. Let's just hit this real quick. When it adds HDR to SDR content, does that cause it to have more gamut coverage in SDR, even if it isn't native? No. Gamut coverage is what it is to the source. You can't add more. It is what it is. Now, you can oversaturate it, but it would look terrible. And if so, does that mean SDR 9.2 will have more gamut coverage than the 9? No. I mean, basically, you can't upmix color, otherwise it looks terrible. However, with that in mind, Samsung says they can do it and not look terrible. So we're going to have to test that. Samsung, I believe, said that they're going to upmix color so that it could fit this additional gamut into a smaller container. We'll see. I don't know how this is going to look. I personally don't think it'll look natural. It'd be oversaturated, honestly. But hey, I want to be proven wrong. I want to see new technology. People take advantage of it. Okay. Which is the better deal for $2,500? The 75-inch QM8L or the 65-inch Sony Bravia 8 Mark II? Oh, neither. The 75-inch QM8L is too expensive right now. Wait for Black Friday. It will definitely drop to below $2,000. I cannot recommend the QM8L when the 77-inch Samsung S90F exists for under $2,000. For around $2,000 or a little less, get the Samsung S90F 77-inch, full stop. The QM8L is a good TV, but it's not $2,500 good. And the 65-inch Sony Bravia 8 Mark II, you are literally paying for the king of TVs. It's proven that it is amazing TV. I'd go with a 77-inch S90F still. So that's how I would spend your money. Hey, Sony Pony Steve, what's up? What's up? Did he talk about sports? Yes, I did. And the Bravia 9 nails it in sports mode. It is the brightest TV here, definitely brighter than Bravia 9. We will see if it's as bright as the X11L, but full screen, the 9 kills it. And of course, best in class upscaling of rough content. You're going to see that on the Bravia 9 Mark II, even though we didn't test it because it's impossible for me to test low bit rate. But it's something that Sony has done well in the past, and I expect them to do well in the future. If money isn't a factor, 83-inch S90F or the Bravia 8 Mark II, Bravia 9 Mark II 85-inch. Ooh, I get the Bravia 9 Mark II 85-inch because at the 83-inch size, the S90F is not the best TV or the best OLED. I would compare it directly to the S95F 83-inch because money no object. Well, forget that. The 83-inch G6 versus the Bravia 9 Mark II 85-inch. So, in a brighter room, Bravia 9 Mark II, because you should not be watching Vivid on an OLED. If that's what you need, got to go with Bravia 9 Mark II, and I will get that impact in a bright room. In a dark room, where it's more serious movie watching, darker scenes, I'd go with the OLED, the 83-inch G6 or the 83-inch S95H, one of those two. If I'm gaming, S95H. If it's just movie watching and the occasional sports and HDR impact, I'd go with the G6. Both of them share the same tandem OLED panel, except the S95H has the matte anti-glare, but then in a dark room, that doesn't matter. And in a bright room, I would choose the Bravia 9 Mark II over the S95H. Both have amazing anti-glare for bright room watching. So hopefully that helps you. All right. Okay, I think this is a great time to wrap it up, guys. Okay, then we will say our goodbyes. And let me double check. All the super chats are done. If I missed any of your questions, don't worry. We have more live streams to come. More importantly, we're going to have an amazing comparison review season between now and the shootout on July 18th. We're going to have the S95H versus the Bravia 8 Mark II versus the G6. We're going to have the R95H micro RGB versus the Bravia 9 Mark II versus the X11L SQD. You guys will love it. Until next time, I know it's so hard to stop the FOMO, but you got to stop the FOMO.